thought you said, yeah. I just press go. We're going live in five.
I just press it already.
Uh, Hold on 1 second. Yeah,
Oh.
we are live.
Hello?
Greetings, YouTube.
Greetings,
How you
YouTube.
doing? How you doing out there? I'm wearing my bright shirt today because we got bad weather, but I hope you're doing okay.
Right. I think we're missing something.
Uh, like and subscribe, hit the bell notification button, smash that like. Right?
Mhm.
That's the way you're supposed to say it.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Smash that like button.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. How you guys doing today, Mark? I'm glad you're here, Mark, because I know you missed your concert. Um,
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know. I'm pretty
Oh,
out of it. I don't know how much I'll be able to handle the after effects of the clonazepam that I've taken. I'm still pretty sedated. It was a struggle to get out of bed long enough or early enough to get a cup of coffee in me before this. So, um, but we'll see. I might be a little more, um, I don't
okay.
know. Yeah,
We could just go over
yeah.
some stuff. All right. In recent news, we still got to go over Iran because that seems to be topic number one. I want to ask you if it, number one, if this seemed like a necessary strike, invasion, whatever you want to call it. And number two, where do you see this going? Where do you see this ending? 2 weeks, a month, years?
I
um,
don't know. I don't know. That's hard to answer how long it'll be going on. Don't have any of the intelligence on the military assets that are available and that are arrayed against our interests there. I'm not even particularly clear on what our interests there are necessarily, or at least interests sufficient to uh, violate a nation's sovereign airspace and uh, bomb their head of state and effectively like clerical um, leader. It's not just the president. He's basically number two to Allah in their um, whole sect there. So it's a big deal. But another thing is that it sounds to me, based off of what I've seen, like he could kind of tell the end was coming, the beginning of the end, um, because there were orders issued out to the IRGC to basically give them free rein, in the case of the decapitation of leadership, you know, and the, isolation, destruction of communication systems and whatnot. Any IRGC unit has um, complete unilateral authority to act on its own, however it feels appropriate, against the West and Western interests and assets. So, um, and another thing that, that's not particularly um, obvious at the outset is that um, IRGC does not stand for Iranian Republic Guard Corps. It's Islamic Republic Guard Corps, and um, the flavor of Islam, so to speak, over there that the regime is enforcing is called 12er Shia Islam, which comes from the original split in Islam between the Sunni and the Shia went over succession of the Prophet after the first four caliphs. There was one side that wanted or that felt that the Prophet's family and bloodline should be um, the um, succeeding real leaders, and the other side, the Sunni, believed that there should be a um, semi-elected head of state, and the Sunnis basically took the majority and became kind of dominant and uh, to no small degree oppressive against the Shia. But the 12er Shia in particular, believe that there will be a successive line of um, 12 leaders um, following Muhammad. And they reached the 12th.
Oh,
He was a child. But what they're saying is that the child leader is being held in, I forget the exact word. They have a word. Basically he's been like lifted up to heaven and he still exists and will only return after the spread of Islam has covered the entire world, has the entire world has been brought under subjugation of Islam and is made to submit to Allah. So they have a very like baked into their core a
not to change the subject, but there's that number again, 12
12.
from
Yes.
our
Yeah.
other discussion. It keeps
Yeah.
showing up in the Middle
Numerology
East.
is very important across a lot of the Semitic cultures. It's yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
but the 12 are um, which I mean with Islam they got that from Christianity. The number 12 and the following. I mean,
No,
Islam is
it's
kind of
it's
assembled
a
this.
new it's just a general numerology thing, just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
it's a star thing, numerology, uh, post I don't know the word for it, but yeah. So
But just to finish that,
was
the
this a
end of it,
necessary?
two more sentences though.
Sure.
Because of all of this, they have baked into their core ideology that it is their responsibility, it is the regime's responsibility to bring out the apocalypse on the earth, destroy everything, and subjugate all peoples, all nations, in order to bring about the return of the 12th caliph, or what they consider caliph. He wasn't really a caliph. That's really more like, okay. But yeah.
Well, I
So
mean, that's super, but it looks they were pretty neutered from you know, a standpoint of what they had. The leader of their country was what, an 86-year-old man, and we couldn't wait for, him to go naturally, but
you think that
it would pass
it,
on to his son.
yeah,
That
it
would
would,
be,
it would,
yeah.
and his son is just as, if not more, violent than he is. It's really, it's a good question, and it's a very valid point, but it needs to be like, I feel like it's a little too focused. It needs to be like brought back out to a 10,000 foot view, or whatever. And is a nation, or is an organization, a regime with the resources of Iran, which are considerable, like they have a lot. Um, is it a good idea to have that in place with people whose entire goal is to bring about a violent apocalypse and overthrow of any nation everywhere they can get? The number one
So,
sponsor of terror, because they want them making people afraid everywhere they can.
yes, they were sponsoring terrorism, and they do have oil, and they have access to um, uranium.
Well,
So, which,
they're the Middle East breadbasket. They,
yes,
much like
uh,
Ukraine to the Europe, they grow almost all of the food that keeps, the Saudis
which
and the
brings
Iraqis
us
and the Syrians fed.
brings us back to the JCPOA. That was a deal signed that would allow uh, investigators, uh, what's the IAEA? Is that right?
Atomic
They
International Energy Association or something,
yeah.
I think.
So they would have power to go in. They could go in at any time and monitor their activity. And they brought their stockpile of enriched uranium from 98% down to 2%.
No, they didn't.
And
They've gone back up. We've documented a well over 60%, which is
well,
wholly unnecessary for
that's
power.
because that's because Donald Trump tore up that agreement, the J
Well,
the
I mean, rightly
JCPOA.
so, I think, given the history. I mean, I'd need to give more of a history lesson on Islam in order to justify it, and I feel like you might not want like a lecture, but there is. I mean, if you look up Takea, I mean, yeah, there is a well-established theological doctrine. It's baked into Sharia law that Muslims are permitted, if not required, to lie, to deceive, to be dishonest, especially to the infidels. Anybody who is not a Muslim, any negotiations are worth less than the paper they're written on, except and so far as it serves the best interests of the individuals signing them. There really was no agreement there. There was almost no likelihood that they would actually follow it. Um, yeah, I see that face you're making, but
Yeah, but
you
th-
really need to study more Islamic history
yeah,
before
I know they're the bad guys, but and I don't
no,
trust them
they're
either. I'm not so trusting, but the actual uranium went away. Where did it go?
right.
The
It
enriched
went
uranium
underground
went
into
from 98
centrifuges and
98% of their uranium went away after this deal came in. And
it
then
did.
Donald Trump ripped up the agreement. No investor, no inspectors could come in, and then it went back up.
98% of their uranium went away. Things don't just go away. Where did it go?
I don't know. They got rid of it.
Right. Okay. So
That's
they just hid it then. That's the best.
Did they give it back to them?
Occam's razor, the simplest of all explanations, is most likely the best. Overnight, 98% of their uranium disappeared as soon as they signed that agreement. Where did it go? We don't know, but we're going to take their word for it that it was disposed of and that they don't have it hidden away anywhere. Really, really, man. You
No.
say you're not
Okay.
naive, and I believe you, but really, man, come on. You should
Yeah, but
know a little bit better.
okay, we have satellites that can see everything in Iran, correct?
Yeah, and we saw them boring holes, boring tunnels. We destroyed those
So
tunnels because that had their nuclear weapon infrastructure, all the centrifuges, everything. It never stopped. It was ongoing. That's why
yeah,
there was the
I
whole
know.
Stuxnet issue.
It didn't stop their mining. Okay.
They don't have a
But it
nuclear
did stop their
energy
enrichment.
program. They have a nuclear weapons program. You don't need to enrich uranium like that if you're just going to build power plants. There is no power plant construction ongoing here. Look it up. Why do they need
I did look
uranium
it up.
if
That's
they're
what I
not building
researched.
power plants?
That's what I researched for
Where are
this.
the power
And
plants then?
there were no power plants
Right,
after
so why do
JC
they need to mine the uranium immediately after it all just disappeared? Why do they
because
need
it's
it?
worth it. Because it's a very valuable thing.
Okay, so then there should be documentation of where they're selling it to. And that doesn't exist, nor does any sort of documentation about where that 98% just poof overnight. Come on.
Well, I would have to look on the IAEA website, but
And take their word for it. Sure. I would look for
well,
third-party corroboration of anything the
and
IAEA
that's a
says.
huge problem with nuclear because you can't just dispose of it. You can't just throw it in the trash, you
Right.
know?
So that means it should be extremely apparent about where it goes. And if it just poof disappears and nobody around them knows, nobody can dispose of uranium like that except for Russia, maybe China,
But
yes, you
they
and
are a good
Ukraine,
source.
right?
This is
Those countries should have nice big documents showing all of this uranium that they purchased from Iran. Iran should have a nice big influx of all of this money that they sold their uranium nicely to. I mean,
well,
otherwise, the Occam's
they didn't
razor
keep
says
it.
that 98% of uranium is still in Iran. It never went away, and it was still being processed.
It didn't.
After that treaty was signed, they were found to have nuclear centrifuges again. Look up Stuxnet, Stuxnet, right?
I
malicious
came across
software
it. I
blew
did
up.
not review it. Okay,
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
look into it.
Nuclear centrifuges blew up because there was a malicious code injected into their control system that had them just go haywire. They blew themselves apart because of the spinning, and those centrifuges were enriching uranium. They were
Uh,
only ever possibly going to be used for enriching uranium, and they were going well above the 5% that you need in order to actually operate a nuclear power plant, which none of those exist either. They would need to have a power plant in progress constructed in order to justify mining and enriching uranium to any degree. Otherwise, they just ship out the uranium ore, but that wasn't happening either. So, do you want a nation state that's working on enriching uranium enough to have a nuclear bomb? Because once they have a nuclear bomb, we can't touch them. Look what North Korea did, right? They built a
yes.
bomb, they have an ICBM, and we can't do anything to them. We can't do anything about it. Iran looked at North Korea, took very careful notes, and that's exactly the game plan they're going for. If they get a nuclear weapon, we have nothing, no recourse. We cannot do anything, and they're free to do whatever they want. Sanctions mean nothing if they can just blow up their, I mean, come on, Tel Aviv wiped off the map immediately. Why would they not
So
use a
what's this mean
nuclear
for
weapon?
us?
It's actually like within their religious ideology, it would be negligent of them not to use a nuclear weapon as soon as they develop it. If you look into 12er Shia Islam,
Um,
Uh,
so
Pookie, what you have? What you got, Pookie? You
um,
got something to?
we had a comment from Jeff. It says, "Could this be over oil?
maybe. I mean, there's a lot of oil there. I don't
Could
know.
this have something to do with oil mainly?" Yeah.
I mean, it would be naive of me to pretend that it's not about, or that it's only about nuclear weapons and preventing Iran from this or that. There's more chess pieces at play for sure, but just fundamentally, the nuclear program is the biggest justification. And I think that alone is justification to do something about it. We can't let it just continue on.
Oh, this is funny. Okay, you'll enjoy this because I'm laughing. Um, Following the implementation of the Joint Comprehension Plan (JCPO), uh, the 98% of Iran's enriched uranium stockpile, roughly 25,000 pounds to 20, was shipped to Russia.
Okay, good. And if they resumed
That's
mining, when was that? When was that shipped out, their enriched uranium? Because if it was pre-Stuxnet, then that's really meaningless because um, they continue.
2015 to 2016. And what we got
Oh, okay.
in exchange for, let's see, oh, this can't be correct. Hold on. Okay.
We get a pinky
Following the
promise
view.
that they'll be.
Okay. All right. What the problem was with this, following the U.S. withdrawal from JCPOA in 2018, and Iran's subsequent suspension of compliance, Iran has rebuilt its stockpile, now holding quantities far exceeding the 2015 limits, including high level enrichment, 60% and above.
Yeah, you need to get up above 80 in order to have it critical for a nuclear weapon. But even 60 is well within what you would need for a really, really, really significant dirty bomb. I mean, this is
Yeah,
not something you don't need 60% enriched in order to have a nuclear power program, a civilian power program. That's military. And
but that's the person I just want to put up. I know this isn't a political thing right here. Donald Trump is the one who tore up that agreement, the JCPOA.
right.
And we could no longer have inspectors go in. We could no longer have
I mean, we don't need inspectors. We know that they're going to immediately resume anything that they promised to get rid of. I don't, I mean, look at what happened anyway, right? They signed it, they got rid of it, shipped it off to Russia, and they're doing it again, even without inspectors going in. Were other nations going in and inspecting it, or did they just ship out the 98%?
this was an agreement between I think China, Russia, and the US and maybe another huge nation. Um,
And
and
the
a lot of
US
it,
pulled out, so it was China and Russia with Iran.
no, this was our agreement, and we were part of several other countries with, and it seemed to be working. I don't like the nuclear enriched uranium going to Russia, but
Well,
they have it anyway.
they have nuclear
Yeah,
power
so
plants. They can
that's
actually use it to generate energy for their people, right?
right.
That's why
But
I mean, that's another
the,
thing. If Iran actually had a civilian nuclear program, for power plants, then they wouldn't need to get rid of it to Russia in order to safely dispose of it.
well, this was before they went crazy. This was before Russia went crazy and they invaded Ukraine. So
Arguably,
we
Putin's always been crazy, but that's another
yeah,
issue.
I know. We can agree on that, yes. Um anyway, does as far as installing the next leader or anything is um I think this is going to be a long-term war, and this is going to be an issue because uh yeah, not
I
only
mean,
going to
yeah,
be for oil and as Pete Hegseth says, the brilliant Pete Hegseth, this
yeah.
is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change. Does that make sense to you?
Wow. He's so profound, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like a,
Okay. I mean, sure.
it's like a, yeah,
That is, I
I
don't,
know.
true enough, plausible enough, I guess. The regime sure
Okay.
did change. I don't know if it really wasn't a regime change move at the outset, but if we take that at face value, just accepting that, then I mean, yeah, wow. The regime sure did change. Um,
Yes.
Fine.
I mean, I'm
Congratulations.
not
Good job,
actually,
Petey.
yes, that is, it's good that they got um, these people out of there. That is actually a good thing, uh, on face value. That, uh, I think they were on their way out anyway, but I don't know where we're going to go from here because I don't think the Trump administration has the intelligence or wherewithal to, um, because they don't understand the
I mean,
culture.
Trump
They do
himself doesn't have the intelligence or the Trump administration overall because
administration both.
he has some
Because
smart people around him.
oh yeah,
Um,
they're very smart, but they're very devious. If they're going to try to install a puppet like um, uh, Hussein, and yeah, it's going to be really
well,
tragic.
I mean, there was more freedom of religion under Saddam Hussein. There were, I mean, I don't
No,
want
he
to
didn't. He killed a
condemn
bunch
it.
of people.
He was a secular president. It was a secular humanist regime. It was not Muslim. It was not involving Sharia. He did not kill people for believing the wrong things.
But
You can
he
make that
did commit
face.
gen
You can look it up though. It was a secular regime.
no, no, it was
He
a
killed people because
dictatorship.
he was an asshole, but he wasn't enforcing Sharia. You could be Shia, you could be Sunni.
Does
You're
it really
still
matter
equally
in the
oppressed.
end?
I don't know,
It,
but the
it,
establishment of a secular state. Look back at Iran pre um pre-revolution. Look at Iran under our
yeah,
puppet
I know. I'm
Shah. Like
very familiar with it.
Western values in a puppet nation isolated
I
in the Middle East somewhere that's not entirely bad.
Iran was actually very on there. They were on the precipice of becoming, yeah, a very free and open nation. It's incredible how close they came. And Afghanistan, well, they weren't free, but they were worse off after we left, to say the least. And
Yeah, were they worse off after we left, or were they just back
yes,
to
they
the
were.
way they were? Because they were invaded by Russia and Mujahideen and all that stuff and fought them off, and then the Taliban, and then we go in and the Taliban run to the hills and we fight them and, hit and run, whatever. We kill one top guy and hang around for years and years and years more, drop a really big bomb, hang out for a couple more years, and then just
Sometimes
abruptly
leadership,
leave and
even
leave
bad
behind a whole
leadership,
flood of
is
really
better.
top tier class military equipment to them as a parting gift. And then they just came back down from the hills again. It's the same sort of cycle back and forth. Get
Yeah, I
invaded,
know, but sometimes even
retake,
bad
get invaded,
leadership is
retake.
better than no leadership. Because anarchy, anyone, the guy with the biggest gun is the
So,
leader. So
are you
eat bad
a
Al.
Taliban apologist here, or
No,
do you think we should
I'm
have
not
stayed
an
there to
apologist for
get
anyone.
the
I'm saying
Taliban out?
Al Qaeda before we invaded was women had at least they at least could go to school.
No,
I don't like. I'm not very tolerant of Islam, but they had certain rights. After we left, it was a
no,
disaster, and
no.
Yes,
No,
that's absolutely correct.
that's not true. I mean, you're
Mm.
making the affirmative statement, so I think you should support that claim because otherwise, unsupported claims don't require any support to dismiss. So, no. And my no is equally as valid as your yes. And so unless you can show something, I completely disagree that women were freer under the Taliban, under Al Qaeda. No.
Well, I can't prove otherwise. So
So
we, we're
my
once
no
again we're
means
at a rock and a hard place. So
well, no, not
do you want
really.
to
I mean, rules of debate. I win. You made an affirmative statement. You couldn't support it.
rules of debate? You win. You could just say that. I had no idea. I
I
would have.
mean, I win a point. I don't win the whole thing. But, yeah, the rules of debate would say that the person making the affirmative claim is required to support the claim, and the claim made without support can be refuted without support. So, you say yes, I say no. You don't have anything to back up the
How about we
yes.
just do rock, scissors, paper? You
No,
know,
that's not the way this works. You need to show that women were freer under the Taliban in Afghanistan.
no.
Please. That is
The original
that
debate
is
was is was about Iran, and we went down
right.
this
We
rabbit
went
hole.
down a
That's
rabbit hole and then you made a claim that I really, really strongly disagree with. And you're trying to weasel out of it. So you can
no. I'm trying to remember what we said. I
you
don't remember.
said that women were
We don't
freer
remember 10
under
seconds
the
ago. So
Taliban.
I
You
know.
said women were freer under the Taliban and under Al Qaeda. They were permitted to go to school. They were permitted other freedoms. You said that. I
I
remember
said that.
because
Yes,
I
for
say no, no, false, not true. Do not spread misinformation. If you can prove me wrong, and please do so, I would love to be wrong, but no.
all right. All right. I will try my best. Otherwise,
We
want
could
to
just
move on
move
to
on
another
and
topic?
you could come back to this next
Yeah,
episode. We can come back to this topic.
we will. We will do that.
Indeed, we will.
What do you want to move on to? You got a topic, Pookie or Mark?
Um, Nothing exciting. I was just gonna ask Mark,
Um,
did he watch Mr. Beast in between
I did
time?
not get through an episode. It was so bad. It was so bad. Uh, I think I maybe finished one episode.
They were
But my
having
Amazon
fun.
Prime Video viewing history showed that I was on the second episode already. When I went and selected it, I had already seen the first episode, apparently. I think that it was one of those like autoplay, and I'd fallen asleep in the chair and finished whatever thing. And Amazon thought next we'll show him Beast Games. And I woke up and just immediately went to bed, shut it off. But yeah, I was partway into episode two, and I just started from there and continued, and it hurt to watch. Uh,
Do you not like game shows or you not like Mr. Beast?
I don't like game shows in general, and I don't like Mr. Beast in particular. They're both.
May
It
I ask why
was.
not?
Why not? Which? Why I don't like game shows?
Uh,
Oh,
Both. Why you not like game shows and what's up with Mr. Beast? Why you don't like him?
I prefer. I mean, I prefer a narrative in some way of some sort. I like um I like to be forced to think about something, when writers have put in things, Uh, when you watch a movie for like the third or fourth time, and then you just realize, oh my gosh, that this character's, that's symbolism for this or that, and it's foreshadowing what's coming up at the end. That you can only really ever pick up on a third or fourth viewing. I like that much thought put into, you know, something that I can emotionally connect with too. Like,
Huh.
characters with motives, either, positive or negative, or, more,
I'm trying to win a competition.
more ideally, like, a love hate, nobody's all good, nobody's all bad. You
No,
can't,
no flat
can't
characters.
fully love, huh?
No, like flat characters.
Right.
Flat
Yeah.
character.
Some sort
Okay.
of dynamic, you know, a bad guy who's, you know, maybe all bad, but who's got a backstory that's a little bit sympathetic. He's bad, but he's bad for a reason. He's stuck in some shitty situation, and if only he had something somewhere, you know, he could have been one of the good guys or whatever, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you on those movies, but not all of them have to be so, you know, deep. I appreciate a good violent action movie every so often, where the bad guys are just bad guys and the good guys are just good guys. And there can be, yeah,
Lots of
some,
explosion.
yeah, like I've always been a big fan of like Total Recall or something, and you know, The Running Man. I got to think of something outside Schwarzenegger. Um,
I I watch a lot of documentaries and game shows. Not like Jeopardy or anything like that. Things that like go on season, like the traders and stuff like that. And Beast Games was it's it's interesting to watch.
Oh,
Yeah.
1824. I just saw that one on Paramount Plus. And that
Oh
was
yeah,
a
I seen it. I didn't
the
look into it,
Western.
but I did see it. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never really considered myself much a fan of the Western genre, and perhaps that's a lot to do with the spaghetti Western, like the cheesy spaghetti Western stereotype. Um, but
you
yeah, that one was good. It was nice, like nice and gritty, and I like Sam Harris as an actor. He's really good. And I just saw him in Landman, so it was kind of fresh in my memory. Um, Very different
not a
characters in
not
this.
a John Wayne fan. Spaghetti westerns and
I'm a John Wayne fan.
John Wayne and Ronald
Yeah,
um,
Reagan. Come on.
haven't seen any Reagan films, honestly. I should, you know. Um, Coming from a traditionally Republican household, I'm now looking back surprised that we didn't have more Reagan appreciation, but yeah, I don't know. I'm
so you're just not a game show fan, basically.
not a game show fan
What
generally.
about competition shows?
Uh, what's the difference?
Um, Competing, not answering questions on a board or something. Competing, jumping from here
Oh,
to there.
I mean, I
Um,
like Jeopardy. That's interesting.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That's what I meant by game shows. I mean, like
Okay.
they do challenges and stuff.
So they play games,
You
challenging
probably wouldn't
games,
watch it, huh?
challenging games.
They're not necessarily games. They're kind of just challenges. And if you lose, you lose. I mean, if you lose, you go home on some of them. On some of them,
Oh, there
but
was one I saw a while ago. It's like butchers competing against each other. Meet the Meat, I think. MEET, the MEAT, and they like each each episode they'd have like a group of butchers and they'd give them all of these different like animals to butcher up and judge them based off of like the preparation and display and the total weight of the meat that they got out of it. And that was pretty dang interesting, if I'm gonna be
Uh,
honest. Seeing the whole animal up there and then seeing them break it down, um, it's really cool. And then like at the tail end, the very last challenge, they always call the beast or whatever, and they bring in some really like off the wall, weird um animals that like no average butcher store butcher would ever have encountered before in their life. And they're like, you know, here's this thing that you have no familiarity with. Make something to impress the judges. Uh, so, but that's still I consider that a game show still because it's competing for prizes. The game is just doing the best preparation, getting the most meat out of it. It's I don't know. I guess
but
maybe
like
it's different
Mythbusters,
definition.
you seem like a Mythbusters kind of guy.
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, that's also entertaining, but their methods are really just purely entertainment. The
Yeah,
more I the
I
more
think
I
so.
went, as I got through engineering school, I looked back more and more at Mythbusters and I was just like, those were just two guys dicking around. They weren't really figuring anything out too,
Oh
like,
yeah, no, I imagine they had a whole crew doing that. Like they would,
yeah.
do 5 minutes of B-roll of them, hammering, and then they would go drink coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, make it look a lot harder than it actually is to get it all
Yeah.
set up. Some of the things that they assembled though are pretty difficult, pretty impressive to
Yeah.
assemble. But you know, that's the thing though.
Yep.
It's kind of one of the things I like about um like engineering versus pure physics, pure science is that, you don't have to come away with a whole bunch of raw data measurements and draw conclusions. You can just use the physics to calculate what you need to do something entertaining or stupid and then build it,
um,
you know.
there's
How,
another show I was
how
watching.
much compressed gas do I need to force a chicken out of this PVC pipe? And what will its muzzle velocity be?
Chicken cannon. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
yeah,
I'm not
I like
watching
the
that.
chicken cannon.
Um,
I
there's
wanted to
another
build a
show I
potato
was
gun.
watching. I don't know. Like I'm a game show part, not a game show, but yeah, I like people doing challenges and beating scores to stuff, and like the Ultimate Soldier Challenge. I don't know if you ever watched that. Um, People just training and doing the training things that the army does, and they hope to pass those tasks. And a lot of them are,
Wasn't
I'd say,
there?
scary.
I think I saw there was a recent one that's kind of like that. The it's like boot camp, like a guy going through boot camp for the Marines or something, and will he make it? Will he wash out or something? I wasn't sure if it was like based on
Um,
or semi-biographical or what, but
this show I was watching, um, it's called World's Toughest Test.
Oh, I think that might be it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like most of the other shows I watch. They're challenges like that. Well, not most of them, but yeah, like I said, I watch documentaries and I watch challenge shows like that. Yeah, game shows, answering questions off a board like Jeopardy. Those aren't ones I'm watching.
Oh, Special Forces. Yeah, okay. That's different from the one I was thinking of. Um,
I'm more into all the old school, game shows and competition shows, like what was it? American Gladiators.
oh yeah, that was cool. American Ninja.
Yeah. And
But
even on
parkour
Nickelodeon.
isn't like the cool thing anymore. When's the last time you saw anybody doing fancy parkour?
A few weeks
Oh,
ago, I watched American Ninja Warrior. It still goes on.
yeah, they still do that. It's sort of, yeah, parkour.
Okay,
Watch that every year. Um,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Boots. That's the thing. Oh, okay. It's a drama, not a competition. But yeah, one season comedy drama about a bullied gay or closeted gay teen who impulsively joins the Marine Corps in the 90s with his best friend, navigating boot camp while dealing with the illegality of being gay in the military. Yeah. Wait, 1990s, was that? When was the Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Didn't they, was that before? Or was there a policy like no gays, period? And then they was like, okay, but don't ask, don't tell. And then
I
it
didn't
was
know
I don't
about
know.
changed,
that.
or if it was always don't ask, don't tell.
Never
I
heard
think
of
that
it.
was like the 90s. Like
Yeah,
the 90s was like,
Never heard of a don't ask, don't tell rule.
yeah. Don't ask, don't tell was the official U.S. policy 1994 to 2011 prohibiting gay, lesbian, and bisexual individuals from serving openly in the military. It allowed
2011. It was
service.
that late.
Yeah, yeah. It
Oh,
allowed service while requiring secrecy about sexual orientation, aiming to prevent discrimination while avoiding an outright ban. Over 13,000 service members were discharged under this policy before it was revealed or repealed.
Wow.
hmm.
Yeah.
When you do things
Instituted
like that,
by Clinton in 1993, became effective in 1994 as a compromise regarding military service by sexual minorities. The policy stated military personnel were prohibited from asking about or forcing service members to disclose their sexual orientation. However, if service members disclosed they were gay or were found to be engaging in, quote, homosexual conduct, they could be discharged. Over 17 years, Don't Ask, Don't Tell resulted in the discharge of thousands of service members, forcing many to live in fear and maintain secrecy about their lives. Policy was repealed on September 20, 2011 under Obama, allowing LGBTQ to serve openly. The legacy, yes. Department of War is working to correct the records of veterans who served under this policy. Rightly so, if you were just found to be gay while serving in the military and then dishonorably discharged and having that on your record because of don't ask, don't tell policy. I don't think you should have dishonorable discharge on your record.
I don't think you
Obviously,
should
It's
have
obviously it's too
people
late
that you're
to go
gay.
and bring them back into the military and try to right any wrong there, but yeah, dishonorable discharge is something that really follows you around a lot. So,
Yeah.
It seems like there should be some kind of apology there.
Yeah.
I think that the
I
deal
assume
with
there
the
was.
dishonorable discharge is probably the most that they can expect, just based off of my impression of the uh, the military, the Department of War. I don't think that they're likely to
It should
apologize.
change to honorable discharge.
An apology would constitute an admission of wrongdoing, and they're not going to do that. They're just going to change the record
No,
about
they
them.
did something wrong, and
Well,
they
they're
can
not
make
going
it
to
a.
admit that. Why would they? If they admit it,
I
then
guess.
they're open to some sort of liability. And if they're liable for anything, then, well, I don't know. Can
Well, I'm just
service
saying,
sue the
it's become
military?
very progressive. Our world, and gays can even serve in the military, and it just seems like an obvious thing. Just like the humane, polite thing to do.
I mean,
Honor, isn't that like the
treat
most
it like any
important
other.
thing?
Like if two, like if there was a heterosexual relationship found within the military, there are often disciplinary actions that are taken. They don't want that kind of stuff, those sorts of emotional entanglements to potentially influence any sort of decision making within the military ranks. So they would discipline a heterosexual pair. So just apply the same standards of discipline there. That
Football
But
saves options.
comparison.
The
if
don't ask,
they're
don't
gonna
tell
be
is
if you're just gonna be gay, then there's no reason to express it if you're not like having sex with someone,
yeah,
right?
I mean if you're gay, you don't join the military to be surrounded by a bunch of other gay men, you know.
I
You
mean, you can
join
join
the
the army because
military
you want
to
to join the
serve the
army.
All right.
country,
Oh, okay.
you know?
I'm going to ask you an honest question here. There, in all the ranks, have you ever seen Pirates of Penzance, the
Uh,
musical?
I
It's
know
wonderful.
the name. I have not seen. Is Rogers and Hammerstein?
Yeah, I think so. Or yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but come on, after all, so the pirate or the sailors of England, uh, when in the British Empire, they would go on 3 year long trips and not see a woman. You're telling me they never, and yeah, come on with each other.
With each
I'm
other?
just saying,
Well, if they're like straight
never.
like brought up within the religious framework of the
Ah,
European society at the
yes.
time, that is a bigger no-no than most of the other
Oh, yes.
commandments. Um, it was likely frowned upon in a lot of that.
Of course, it was frowned upon. So it was
Right.
I was
eating
gonna
meat
say
on
So
that's why it
Friday.
didn't
so
happen.
it would be secreted away in the same manner as the don't ask, don't tell policy, just by virtue of the societal enforcement, not necessarily because of any sort of like actual decree. But I don't know. Is there
I suppose my
hanky like
points
that
are,
in Pirates of Penzance?
I'm just
I,
saying it's a fun musical, and it just reminded me of uh, uh, pirate times and everything, and when it
Okay.
if you
Well,
do go on, if you are isolated with, people have needs,
could
and what about
I mean,
prison?
to not to overstep or to be too impolite, like
um,
don't feel any need to
I,
answer.
I,
But let me ask you then, if you were on one of those ships not seeing any women at all for, whatever, um, only your shipmates and whatnot, how long would it take you to begin engaging in such acts as you are describing?
Ooh,
Overnight. No, I'm
is
just kidding.
that is
Okay.
Um,
that a proposition?
No,
Um,
I'm just wondering because if is this genuinely the way that you think, or are you just is this just
um,
like I said, I think about a lot of stuff, and it is a reality that yeah,
well,
a lot of men have been
a lot
millions
of
of
men
men.
is not the question that I
Okay,
asked.
no,
How
just
long would it
stop.
take for you to begin
Okay,
to, with the lack of
I don't
women?
know. I'm not in that situation.
couldn't tell until it
Do you want
happens.
me do you want me to say
Well,
63 months, 5 hours?
no,
Because
no, I'm
I
not
don't know.
expecting an exact answer, but do you genuinely think that there would be a length of time, there would come a point where you would just give up on seeing a woman, I'm assuming that you're heterosexual. I
Mm,
don't know, but under that assumption, do you really think there would come a point where you would,
yeah, I mean, maybe that's a big maybe.
as
Yeah,
opposed to
Yeah, I was gonna
just,
say there's a big
um,
maybe there.
you,
yeah. But that once
There's
again, that's. But my
yeah,
point is, since there's been literally millions and millions of men who have gone off to war and not seen another woman in a long time, and yeah, I think you don't
generally
think one of them
they
have
handle that
ever.
sort of thing themselves. Handle
Okay,
that sort of thing themselves.
um,
yeah, I know they
back
can
to the
handle
part
it
where you said that
themselves.
I'm just saying, I don't see why you need
Yeah,
to make the jump. That's that's a
um,
that's a I mean technically even that's kind of against the social mores at the time, but um
um,
but that's a simpler, more direct. I mean, if you can handle a problem yourself, why do you need to go to somebody else to be
um,
I
I'm
mean,
maybe.
your definition of handle it yourself can be much different than others' definition. Just because you got a hand doesn't mean you don't want to put it in a hole. Um, I'm just putting
what
that out there. And then the part where you said if you're
what
gay,
how
then why
are
would you go to
you
the army where there's all men? It happens all the time. Not that I'm gay, but I'm saying you would
Right.
not go to the army because you're gay. You go to the army because you want to go to the army. You don't stop because I'm gay. I don't can't go. No, if you want to go to the army, you go to the army. Gay, your mindset I'm gay shouldn't stop you. Um,
right,
Yeah,
but
I think I got a
there
little
are
off track with
there is military law, there is military code that prevents fraternization within the ranks. They're not supposed to do that with each other in the military, whether they're gay or not.
yeah, I'm just saying being gay and actually participating in gay things is two different things. I'm saying being gay
Okay.
does not stop you from having the thought of I want to go to the army, even though I'm gay.
It,
Your
okay.
your sexual
Okay. I
preference.
think I got it. It's not gay if you're on top, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like,
No,
I know gay people who have
I
gone
get
to
it.
the
I get it.
service.
But it seems like I don't know. The image I'm coming to when you're saying this, when you're describing it, is that it's like wholesale widespread everywhere. And I don't think that's the case. I think that if anything, it's more,
and
by far it's isolated and I mean in military in
yeah,
the
I would think
prison
it would be isolated.
in the
Yeah,
prison environment, I think it's
That's
also
what I
in
mean.
a lot of ways a violent um, a violent assertion of power and dominance more so than a an actual act um
I'm I'm not going to
of
comment on comparing the
emotional
military
release. Like
and
I don't know.
you know,
This is one
yeah,
of the weirdest conversations we've ever gotten into.
yeah, we've really
How
swerved
did
off
we get
topic.
here?
Where did we begin with this? We gotta,
How did we get here?
I
Did we get here from that
it's
shirt
I
sailing
have a lot
in
of family
islands?
members who are actually gay. I have family in the service. No one's ever said that gay people shouldn't go to the service just because you're
No,
gay.
they used to.
That I never heard that one.
Yeah, they used to. Before 1944, it was or before 1994, it was explicitly prohibited. And then Bill Clinton passed a law in 1994, don't ask, don't tell. So it's as long as you don't say you're gay, yeah, you can join up. And then eventually that was repealed. So it's kind of, I mean, that's the way a lot of these
But
things go. There's not any sort of immediate jump to justice. It's incremental. You take what you can get whenever you can get it and don't give it back. Move forward. That's
what I'm
progress. So,
what I'm saying
um,
is like I played football in high school. What I'm saying is what it's sounding like is you're saying a gay person can't be on a team because he's gay. If he's in the army and not participating in gay stuff, then why can't he just go? I'm not there. I'm there to protect the country. I'm not there
does it
to have a relationship.
does it sound like I'm arguing against gay people in the military?
I thought that's what I heard.
Do you think that's my position?
Yeah, I did. I thought that's what you were trying to be in that position. Um, I didn't understand. You're not against them?
No,
Okay.
no.
Glad I cleared that up because I was confused. I was wondering
I
if that's what you were saying.
I I'm not sure how I gave that impression. Kevin, is that the
I
impression?
think it's because I got off on that weird tangent about, you know,
Well,
uh,
I wanna clarify and I wanna,
oh
if
no,
I could, did you think that was my position too? And if so, I would like to take a moment
no,
to clarify.
I don't think so. You're
Okay.
good. No,
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
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 We
Sorry,
got
Kevin.
anything else? What else we got? No, on the tablet.
There's a lot. We avoided the subject of the environment, the entire environment on
Yeah,
Thursday
we
because that was something
we
that
wanted to wait
we
for you
thought
for that one.
you wanted to discuss. It's a very big topic though, so I'm not sure what environment stuff you wanted to talk about or whatnot, or if
no.
we probably
Yeah, I mean, okay. There's a lot I wanted to revisit about that nuclear energy. And you were saying, well, particularly the German shutting down the German uh, nuclear reactor. And well, I kind of agree that it was not wise to shut it down in 2023. The renewables are effective. They're effective all over the world, and they do work, and
mm,
they are
well,
coming to work. They will eventually replace most.
Germany's built wind turbines, but it's really, after the shutdown of their nuclears, it's really natural gas that has picked up that slack. It's not really the wind. Wind isn't
Yes,
reliable. The natural gas power plants are. I mean, if you look up, the biggest wind turbine produces 2 megawatts, and it takes up a lot of space. The footprint of the post is pretty small, but you need all of that elbow room of the entire blade span cleared. Um, so 2 megawatts from that one
Mhm.
single wind turbine.
Well,
A
I was
single
more impressed with
A single Siemens H-class gas turbine engine outputs about 600 megawatts, with a footprint a little bit larger than that from a single wind turbine. Um, it's not realistic to use wind to replace fossils.
when the in the north of Germany, they provide the energy, 40% of the energy for South Germany, Southern Germany, I think.
Can you give a link
Didn't
to
know
that?
that.
Yeah,
That's kind of interesting. That's news to me. Um, and I would be skeptical about their measures and metrics because it's easy to fudge numbers when you talk about power grids. And another thing, they can provide 20% of the power. That's fine. That means 80%, most, nearly all, is still coming from fossils. And what isn't coming from fossils is being imported from France's nuclear grid. So I don't find this a convincing sales pitch for wind turbines. And they've
I know.
really built up and occupied most of the actual, like, realistic, viable wind turbine, wind farm locations. They're not well
Okay,
suited for anywhere. There's a few spots, and they've put them there. And there's not a lot of room for growth beyond that. Um,
total
Next up
wind
is solar, but solar
in Germany
photovoltaic,
was 137 terawatts last year.
137
So,
turbines. So that's half of a single gas turbine rotor. Which do you think
okay.
gets more? And gas turbines are used as peaker plants. So if you go on Wikipedia, look up peaker power plants. They're basically gas turbines that stay on standby and turn on when demand is highest. They can spin up in about 30 minutes or so. So when the wind stops blowing, they kick in these peaker plants in order to fill the gap. Um, that's why wind appears to be effective at that 20% figure. It's because natural gas is still kicking in, and it's trivially easy for a single gas turbine to kick in and pick up all of the slack from Germany's northern wind farms.
Appears to be effective. So, like the wind is invisible, or it's the, you know,
When is the last time you saw the actual wind moving?
Never.
There you go. Yeah, the
I know.
wind is
I'm
invisible.
just joking around,
I've seen
But
dust
but
moving on
yeah,
the ground. I
yeah,
don't know if
well,
that's the
that's
wind.
evidence of the wind. That's not the wind.
Okay, okay.
That's
I got
things caught up
you. Got
in
you.
the wind. You're not seeing the wind itself. You're
Got
seeing
you. Totally
the,
get it.
I just
but
I just wanted to make what point of Germany's dedication to getting rid of nuclear energy. This has been a 25-year long mission for them. I mean, they didn't decide to do this like last year.
no,
I mean, because they,
it's been an ongoing disaster for them.
oh, has it? Um,
Yeah, yeah, it has. I was working in the power industry at a German company when they voted this in. I know exactly the chaos that it started there very well from the inside.
all right.
NDAs prevent me from going into a lot of details, but yes, I know about Germany.
You said you won't go into detail?
I worked at Siemens AG I signed an NDA about my work there. I cannot talk about specifics about
Yeah.
what I did, but I was working for a German company in the large gas turbine division.
Okay, so with that being said, the can't say anything thing. That's a question I have.
Well, I can't talk about the details of, I broadly speaking, but,
I'm
can't
just talking about an
disclose.
NDA in particular. When
Right.
it comes to NDAs and someone gets you to sign one, um, that's just like you can't bring it up. But if you do, it's just like you get sued, right?
Yes, there's legal repercussions for disclosing information covered under an NDA. That's why, when there's a big court case and they make a settlement and they ask you, or they ask the person who received the $20 million payout from some company, oh, what's this and that? They say, I can't, we signed an NDA. I can't disclose the details of our agreement, just that, we've resolve the situation and are moving in our own separate ways, basically. They can't say really anything more about the topic other than just that there was an NDA and just broadly speaking, um, you know,
Yeah. I
so
mean, like, yeah. Personally, I'm just not worried about getting sued. You're gonna have to find me first. But
Well,
yeah,
it's us that are going to get sued.
huh?
Oh, nothing. That's sad. We're
Yeah.
going to get
I'm
sued if,
I'm the one who signed the NDA. I'm gonna get sued.
Yeah. I was thinking,
Yeah.
like, yeah,
you,
when
Yeah,
someone
I filled
goes,
out all of the employment forms. They got my social security number, man.
you don't want to mess with those Germans.
No,
Um,
no.
oh, yeah, that too.
they'll come and get you. Um,
Think
I'm
so?
just joking. Yeah,
They're very,
they're
very
love.
precise about language and legalese and stuff. They would know exactly what I did and how to get me if they decided I violated an NDA.
Uh,
But I only
what
signed the
about
one at the beginning of employment, so yeah.
Is it
Um,
really like that? Like companies are gonna go look for people if they break the NDA?
I mean, if this video goes viral enough and I, go on and proceed to talk about a lot of very specific detailed trade secrets that I worked on or whatever, yeah, they might. If I talk about anything that is of any material value to any competitor, yeah, they might. Uh, but I'm not gonna. If anything, my brain is fogged and clouded enough that any
Yeah,
material trade secrets are either gone or mixed up, buried. I'd need a
I just
refresher
wanted to talk
course
about
in all of it.
I just wanted to talk about like NDAs in particular because I mean that's not something I'm scared of with someone coming to find me because I mean then you gotta beat me once you find me. So um
they're coming after us. Yeah, they're not. So
yeah,
anyway, I just want to finish on this. I have read the history of the past 25 years, and I just read mixed reviews. That's what I keep seeing about the Germany transfer. Mixed reviews. Good things and bad things. Okay, I'll finish on that. But what do you think about nuclear in general um, as the major? I mean,
Oh,
because
we should be
you got
shifting to nuclear like immediately, hardcore. It is,
hardcore. Okay,
yes, hardcore. If
I'm here to
any of the
listen. I know.
AI companies are serious about their company's continued growth rate, if they actually expect to be able to continue at that that curve shooting up and everything, then their power demands are going to either just crash the entire US power grid, and grind them to a halt, which will just crash their stock prices, and with that, a big chunk of the US economy. Um, Probably, maybe, probably not. That's just a doomsday scenario. But um, training these models and using these models takes a lot of electricity. It's a
and
lot of
money.
yeah, yeah. But the electricity is the big thing because that's electricity that they're competing against the average American consumer for. So either electricity prices are going to go up and the big tech companies will be able to afford it, and customers will be left uh, holding a bigger bill, basically subsidizing um, AI training out of their own pocket, even if they're not using any of these LLM tools or any other, AI machine learning and whatnot. Or these companies need to be responsible for building their own power infrastructure at their data centers. And to do so, they should be required to do it in a net zero carbon emission fashion. And nuclear is the
And that's
best
the
way to
hope.
do it.
That is the hope. But there's concerns. There's huge concerns about nuclear. If something goes wrong, you could salt the earth like Chernobyl. And,
Chernobyl
if
was a
something,
poor design from a first generation nuclear reactor with no fail safes,
yes,
and it was poorly maintained, poorly run, poorly supervised. Chernobyl
obviously,
can't happen again. It's
can.
can't.
You're saying if we build
The way
several
that
nuclear,
Chernobyl failed cannot happen in modern nuclear reactor designs.
and
Yes, they fail safe. They fail. If there's a problem in the control rods fail down. They drop and they shut down. They're neutron absorbers. So what Chernobyl did, their control rods were stuck, and that led to a runaway of the nuclear reaction in the bottom, and that just melted the whole thing into a gigantic chunk that just, fissioned itself into the big gigantic elephant's foot that's, down at the bottom of the Chernobyl reactor again.
what
Um,
happened with Fukushima?
Fukushima was another older problem or older generation reactor, and it also was poorly maintained. I'm a bit less familiar with what happened in Fukushima exactly, but I can say that there was another nuclear reactor just down the coast in Japan, about 11 miles down the coast, experienced the same tsunami, and it did not fail like Fukushima
So,
did. So
I mean,
it's not a problem of the design. There was something particular to Fukushima that failed, and we need to know what that is. But
if that was only 15 years ago, Fukushima. If,
right, well, it was
how
built
often are we going to need to replace
decades
this?
before that. Just
How,
because it failed in 2015 does not mean that it was built that it was a generation. Like, hold on, let me see how many generations ago.
This
it's
is a
about
story that I don't know much about, so I'm in the learning process listening to you guys. But I'm here. Just might not look like I'm here because I'm looking and I'm listening, but I'm here. I'm learning.
I mean, from what I know, they produce lots of toxic waste,
Mhm.
toxify the water, and I don't know what we're going to do with all that toxic waste. I think Elon should take care of that. He should take it up to the drop it up there. I think
Let
that's a
it
good
flow.
idea.
Let it float away like space trash?
Oh, I don't know. That would make me nervous. I don't like toxic waste floating around. It might like not reburn or burn up in the atmosphere, and like a can of toxic waste, you know, hits you in the
No.
head, and then you turn into a superhero or something.
What
I don't
happens when
know.
they just like let the jets, I mean, to the rockets just when they shoot off. Once they shoot off and they just let the rocket go, where are those things floating off to?
What things? You
Rockets.
mean you uh the the fuel canister? Are you talking about that or?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they crashed to Earth, pretty
Oh,
sure.
man.
And the payload goes into the space. Yeah.
Mm.
But
Yeah, it's
like
the
I'm
second
talking,
stage that is a bigger concern. The first stage on the Falcon 9s, they were turned down. The payload fairing, like that clamshell around the top that then separates out, those fall back to Earth. They've got parachutes and they recover those from out in the ocean. So it's just that second stage with that motor that goes and kicks it and inserts it into its final launch position that then needs to be dealt with up there.
Okay.
But hold
Interesting.
on.
yeah. So I was thinking like Elon and his fancy, he personal, only guy on the planet with a personal rocket. Maybe he could take like toxic waste or something and just drop it on the moon. That'd be cool.
Are there any laws against stuff like that? About doing stuff in outer space?
I don't know. There's maritime law and astro. What what would you call that, Mark? Like space-time law or uh,
What space time?
okay, we Pookie and I were just talking about if it
About
would be
litter in
illegal.
space, what's the law?
What's
Oh,
the
there is
law
no
in
law.
space?
There is no law.
Okay.
That's what's so concerning. That's the problem that people are sounding alarms over, and that's potentially what would lead to a phenomenon that's been described as Kessler syndrome, where um, there is let's say whatever, there's so many more satellites in space than there are right now, and one of them accidentally collides with something else and shatters, and that creates all of these pieces that then go and collide with other satellites and they shatter, and you just get a chain reaction that ends up destroying so much, leaving so much space debris in orbit around us that it renders it impossible for us to put anything up in orbit or to travel into space ever again.
So my question is, when I say dropping stuff in space, I mean like if the spaceship was to drop all of its garbage, all of its stuff in its bathroom stuff, like all the plumbing and everything, just like to clean out their space. Is that
Yeah, they do
legal?
that. They do that. They just do it with enough downward trajectory that it enters the atmosphere and burns up.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Um,
they use gravity and the atmosphere to burn their shit up. Their literal shit.
gotcha.
You would need a pretty big rock
You're
to get
welcome,
through the
YouTube, for that mental image.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what they do with their shit in their garbage cans when they're full. Um,
Yeah.
it's just out there.
Yeah,
Good
I
to know.
believe there was actually a recent incident where, for whatever reason, it did not actually fully burn up and break up in the atmosphere. It remained solid and frozen. and happened to
Yeah.
actually strike a woman in her leg on the ground.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think I do remember hearing that. Yeah, it's just
I haven't heard anything
so
like that
Yeah.
in my whole 36 years. I've heard
Lois
nothing
Will
about something falling
Lottie
from
Williams,
space.
the only person to have been struck by re-entering space debris, was hit in the shoulder in Tulsa, Oklahoma in January 1997 while walking in a park. She was tapped by a 6-inch piece of charred, blackened mesh material, later identified as part of a Delta II rocket. That's not that's not the same one.
Okay.
Let
Yeah,
me
I was gonna
see.
say
Hold
someone
on.
literally got hit with shit. Very interesting.
fun.
That's a whole
Several
topic.
several people shit. That's probably it's like, oh man.
Yeah. You mostly got hit by multiple shit because it was mixed with other
Hmm.
shit. Um, that's a very shitty situation.
Okay, here it is. Okay, it wasn't a woman. A 1.6 pound metal cylinder from the ISS tore through a Naples, Florida home on March 8th, 2024, after failing to fully burn up upon re-entry. The debris, part of a 2021 battery pallet jettisoned by NASA, caused significant damage to the roof and floor. No injuries occurred, and the family is now pursuing a claim for damage. The object was part of a 5,800-pound cargo pallet containing old batteries. It was released from the ISS in March 2021. How about that?
Mm.
Been falling 3 years to eventually hit her. I wonder how many times it orbited the Earth in that time. And it's fascinating
Yeah,
that it hit in Naples too. My family
you,
lived briefly in Naples. It must have been like right down the street.
you could probably do the math on that. Traveling at like 5 miles a second, and yeah.
Wow, that's a long way for some shit to hit the ground.
Hmm.
That's wild. It's quite interesting. Um, yeah, so now we know space astronauts, they throw their garbage out of their ship.
So we've basically trashed this planet, and now we're going to
Oh,
trash.
oh,
Now
okay. Yeah,
we're going to trash the.
I got a little more detail here. The object identified as NASA Flight Support Equipment Stanchion, made up of Inconel, was part of a battery pallet jettisoned in 2021 that was expected to burn up upon reentry. It's interesting that they expected the Inconel to burn up. Um, Inconel is a very specific metal alloy made from um, iron, nickel, and cobalt. It's part of a family of alloys that are collectively referred to as the super alloys, primarily nickel cobalt mixtures of various sorts, but they have extremely high temperature tolerances. They remain solid, far higher temperature than most other metals can. Certainly any other sort of like any flavor of steel. They'd all melt long before any nickel cobalt alloy would. So expecting a chunk of Inconel to burn up, I mean, I can see that expectation, but just from a material science point of view, if anything jettisoned from the ISS were to not burn, or anything from the ISS were to be expected not to burn up, it would be a cylinder chunk of Inconel. Like that is the material that is used on the turbine blades in gas turbine, like the first stage gas turbine blades, um, in order to not melt in the face of the oncoming combustion gases. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how much bigger that Inconel chunk was before it started its fall. It is a cylindrical 1.6 pound piece, about 4 inches tall, 1.6 in diameter. Originated from a 5,800 pound cargo pallet of old batteries. Pierced the roof and 2 stories of the home, with homeowner Alejandro Otero noting it narrowly missed his son. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's that's a little
Yeah,
terrifying.
there's odds. Yeah, it's just
What are the
Nobody
odds that
did.
some shit falls from space and hits the
Yeah,
roof of this house?
yeah. The ISS can just drop their junk on us anytime. None of us are safe.
That's something that none of
mm,
us thought about either. That's very
There's
interesting.
a new phobia for you, a new paranoia.
but
Start
if you
looking.
can get hit,
Watch
you can
your
get
head.
hit in your house. You can get hit anywhere. So
Right.
Yeah,
And watch
no
your head as
worries.
you're walking around the
We need to
city.
go underground. We need,
Oh wow.
this is
Um,
not going to be enough. There isn't even a second story above me here. The attic isn't going to do the job.
Kevin's house would because he
I
has
need to go
the attic
down.
and then the second story, right?
Um,
yeah, but
It would
this
stop
is.
somewhere before it got to the basement.
Oh, I doubt this 100-year-old wood would, stop a piece of metal or shit.
uh, metal
What
shit.
would it be?
Shitty
Okay,
metal.
metal. Oh,
Inconel.
that's
Yeah, it was just metal. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, it's not gonna stop that.
Mm.
no.
Shit's gonna hit the fan and then keep going.
I mean and it was only 1.5 pounds too that smashed all the way through both floors. 1.5 pound.
Oh, wow.
How fast would it have been traveling to have that much kinetic energy?
Like how
I'm
far would
gonna
you
do
have to
some
throw a
math this
baseball?
afternoon. Oh boy, I'm gonna
Just
do
thinking of
this.
that.
Mm,
Mark, how hard do you think you'd have to throw a baseball for it to come through this uh, roof and ceiling?
How well is your roof and ceiling built?
I wouldn't know. I just can't. I just moved here.
Oh, that reminds me. There was a comic I saw.
Yeah.
It was what would happen if a pitcher threw a ball um at the speed of light.
Mm. Um,
Okay, let me see.
I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, it was just a thought experiment.
Uh, there was a post I seen where there's a
Yes,
girl.
okay. Relativistic baseball. That's it. Do you guys know XKCD at all?
What
Uh,
now?
The web comic XKCD?
No.
No? Okay. Well, drop it in the chat. But yeah, this comic, the question that was posed to him, he's basically like a physicist or engineer who makes comics based off of like science stuff. And this one, someone posed Oh, 90% the speed of light. This one, someone proposed, what would happen if you tried to hit a baseball pitched at 90% the speed of light? So, yeah, um, uh, don't know if you want, I'll just read it. Okay. There's
Well,
a
if you
lot.
could hit a ball at 90% speed of light, the Dodgers would buy that player.
Yeah, they'd have
Baseball
some,
fans will get that.
well, there's anybody would try, I don't know. Let's see. Let's set aside the question of how we got the baseball moving that fast. We'll suppose it's a normal pitch, and except in the instant the pitcher releases the ball, it magically accelerates to zero point 0.9 c. From that point onward, everything proceeds according to normal physics. The answer, as it turns out, or the answer turns out to be a lot of things. What would happen? Yeah, a lot of things. And they all happen very quickly. And it doesn't end well for the batter or the pitcher. I sat down with some physics books, a Nolan Ryan action figure, a bunch of videotapes of nuclear tests, and I tried to sort it all out. What follows is my best guess at a nanosecond by nanosecond portrait. First off, the ball is moving so fast that everything else is practically stationary. Even the molecules in the air are stationary. Air molecules vibrate back and forth at a few hundred miles per hour, but the ball is moving through them at 600 million miles per hour. This means that as
Wow.
far as the ball concerned, they're just hanging there frozen. The ideas of aerodynamics don't apply here. Normally, air would flow around anything moving through it, but the air molecules in front of this ball don't have time to be jostled out of the way. The ball smacks them so hard that atoms in the air molecules actually fuse with the atoms on the ball's surface. Each collision releases a burst of gamma rays and scattered particles. So yeah, air, nitrogen, oxygen, the ball, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen fuse. Uh, these gamma rays and debris expand outward in a bubble centered on the pitcher's mound. They start to tear apart the molecules in the air, ripping the electrons from the nuclei and turning air in the stadium into an expanding bubble of incandescent plasma. The wall of this bubble approaches the batter at about the speed of light, only slightly ahead of the ball itself. This is at t plus 30 nanoseconds. Um, while constant fusion at the front of the ball pushes back on it, slowing down as if the ball were a rocket flying tail first while firing its engines. Unfortunately, the ball is going so fast that even the tremendous force from this ongoing thermonuclear explosion barely slows it down at all. It does, however, start to eat away at the surface, blasting tiny particulate fragments of the ball in all directions. These fragments are going so fast that when they hit air molecules, they trigger two or three more rounds of fusion. At about 70 nanoseconds, the ball arrives at home plate. The batter hasn't even seen the pitcher let go of the ball since the light carrying that information arrives at about the same time the ball does. Collisions with the air have eaten the ball away almost completely, and it is now a bullet-shaped cloud of expanding plasma, mainly carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen, ramming into the air and triggering more fusion as it goes. The shell of X-rays hits the batter first, and a handful of nanoseconds later, the debris cloud hits. When it reaches the batter, the center of the cloud is still moving at an appreciable fraction of the speed of light. It hits the bat first, but then the batter and the catcher are all scooped up and carried backward through the backstop as they disintegrate. The shell of X-rays and superheated plasma expands outward and upward, swallowing the backstop, both teams, the stands, and the surrounding neighborhood, all in the first microsecond. Suppose you're watching from a hilltop outside the city. The first thing you see is a blinding light far outshining the sun. This gradually fades over the course of a few seconds, and a growing fireball rises into a mushroom cloud. Then, with a great roar, the blast wave arrives, tearing up the trees and shredding houses. Everything within a roughly a mile of the park is leveled, and a firestorm engulfs the surrounding city. The baseball diamond is now a sizable crater, centered a few hundred feet behind the former location of the backstop. A careful reading of the official Major League Baseball Rules 6.08b suggests that in this situation, the batter would be considered hit by pitch and would be eligible to advance to first base. So,
I've I've seen one of those balls hit one of those batters at like 90 miles per hour. That shit's vicious.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
and
want to be hit by a baseball traveling, I mean, any more than
I
maybe 10 miles an hour personally, just in my daily life.
I seen a guy get hit by a ball, get angry, get back up, and then run to the pitcher and attack him.
I mean,
Yeah, it was fun back in the day. They don't do that
some
anymore.
Oh, this was
some
like last year.
grudges, some grudges,
Oh,
can
Yeah,
did the
everybody
pitcher
from the dugout runs back to
did
the
the
pitcher.
pitcher hit the batter, or did he hit the batter? Was it an accident or an
Um, it
accident?
was
You know,
they said it was an accident, but then the whole team came out of the dugout and ran at the pitcher, and then all the team that was outfield ran in to help their pitcher. It was just a big mess. Um,
yeah,
but yeah,
that's the proverbial clearing the benches, right?
yes, it was very
Everyone,
interesting to
everyone
watch.
jumps.
I mean, bad for some of those people, of course, but yeah. Um, I heard that it happens more time than we would think. I
Really?
guess something like it was late in
league.
the game or something.
What
Um,
league is this?
this was this is the regular league. I don't know, regular
Where
baseball.
the M the
It
MLB?
was it was the Yankees versus the Giants
Oh, okay. Well,
in
that's kind of strange.
2025. Um,
I'm I don't know what to say. I mean, they say they don't plunk people as much anymore, but
Is that
sometimes
the
they do.
word they use for it? Plunk?
Plunk, yeah,
uh,
I like that. It
it's
sounds
one of the words.
friendly.
Yeah, yeah, I
Plunk.
know, right?
I don't know if it's like common, like it happens a lot a year, but
I
I've
mean,
seen a video where just a bunch of those hidden pitches videos put together, a compilation.
yeah.
There we go.
I mean,
Um,
if you're if you don't mind playing dirty, right? If you're just trying to win, um, and you're pitching at a particularly skilled player, um, yeah, I can see somebody, just deciding for the sake of winning the game, you know, no
we're gonna hit
honor,
this pitcher.
right? But yeah, you hit the batter, you know, if you get plonked in the leg with a 90 mile an hour baseball, you're gonna be hurting for the rest of the game, you know?
Depends where in the
I think
leg.
his
Well, anywhere
adrenaline.
in the leg will hurt when you're hit with a 90
Well,
mile an hour
if
baseball.
you get
Yeah,
it, if
how
you get
much it
hurt right in the thigh, you're just going to get a dead leg, and that'll wear off in a minute. But if you get hit in the ankle or any of the bones,
the
people
knee.
get worried because they shatter.
It was
They
more. it was more like
What about the
mid
arm,
thigh.
something shoulder up?
And like
Or
he was trying to move from it, so he kind of did like that, and it still like hit him in the hip, like mid thigh, and he was really angry about it. So I think the adrenaline there was, it didn't look like it hurt. The adrenaline, like he got hit, he looked at it, took off running towards the pitcher. He wasn't worried about that initial hit, and that's messed up. Hit by a baseball at 90 miles per hour, I'd be angry. We'd have a problem.
it looks
Just
like
did.
6 bench clearing incidents in 2025 alone.
Mm.
Yankees Orioles on April 30th, Tigers Angels May 2nd, Mets Athletics August 31, Astros Angels June 20, Orioles White Sox May 31, World Series Game 7 November 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe they're
maybe.
not all like all players running out. Maybe it's just a few coming in and whatnot. I don't know how they define it for this list, but um, yeah, majority of incidents in 2025 were caused by players hit by pitches or intense competitive confrontations between batters and pitchers.
Yeah. They were just trying to like, I guess it was like the end of the game. They was trying to hurry up and get those people out. So I'm thinking that's why they hit him. But um, yeah, it looked like he was aiming to hit him. That's why everyone was angry. And obviously it wasn't the Giants that I seen, but that's my favorite team. I can't exactly remember who it is, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, somebody got hit by a ball and he was angry. That's all I remember. Yeah.
Sometimes the coaches do tell them to do that, but it seems strange. Yeah, this is you said this game was on recently or
It was last year. I thought it was the Giants, but
okay.
since he read
Yeah,
that to me,
sometimes the coaches do tell them to hit them, but
yeah, yeah, I wouldn't like it if someone hit me with a 90-mile-per-hour ball. So what I'm saying is, I'd run along with the team too. You hit me with the ball like that, we got a problem.
uh,
I like hockey in that aspect. The you know they're kind
I've
of
watched compilations of their fights
more
too.
self-policing like that. You get in a fight and they fight it out and they get it
Mm.
out of their system and just serve their time in the penalty box. But you
Then
know,
they come back, no teeth,
yeah, yeah, just
bleeding.
it's I don't know, and a bit of
did the
that.
girl
There is a lot. Well, hockey's a lot more violent and in your face. So I can see why the confrontations there are a bit more part of the game, I guess. But
did the
Yeah,
girls hockey team fight at all?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't watch. I
Yeah,
don't
I
watch.
mean
That I
for the
seen.
Olympics.
Yeah,
Not that
that
I seen in the Olympics. No,
that would be.
definitely
I don't
not. I
know.
watched the Olympics. Um,
That would
Yeah,
be weird. I think. I don't
I've
it
know.
seen
would be
like
weird.
they fully allow the guys to fight. Like there's no ding ding ding, but there's a stop of the game, and they're just like brawling it out, and then someone eventually smiles and it's over. Then, like you said, somebody goes to the wherever they go to get their penalty box, I guess.
Yeah, go sit in their little box thing, serve the time, and then come back.
Yes, I think that was one of the most contact sports. I mean, they say that football is the most contact, but if you get to like full brawl, that's like one of
Oh,
the
hey,
most contact sports.
USA versus
You get to
Italy
fight.
in the Olympics. There was a bit of a brawl in the women's team.
Oh,
Yeah,
didn't see it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not, it wasn't like the men's thing, but there was some, confrontation, the whole team kind of went in.
Okay, I
Somebody,
couldn't watch every
somebody
game.
did her dirty. Hannah Bilka's goal, tempers flare after Hannah Bilka's goal for USA Hockey versus Italy is the YouTube video that I see. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if it weren't for the title of the video, I wouldn't know that that's a women's game, honestly, with
Um,
the jerseys and the helmets and stuff.
I believe they have every sport that men have.
Well, wait, no, men's hockey, they just wear the visors, right? The glass visors and they leave the hole uncovered, right? Yeah, the women's they've got full cages, all of them. So yeah, yeah,
Nice.
got to keep them pretty or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why the men's is just so unprotected. It's except for just tradition, manliness, you leave it
Yep.
open, take,
Uh,
take the knocks in the mouth, lose your teeth.
Right.
That's a point of pride, if anything. Ah,
It's
There
our
was
body is utilitarian, It's we take scars and
keep
throw the
pushing
body
on.
out. Yeah.
There was one guy in the Olympics. He got hit in the mouth. The Olympics that just passed, it was the men. He got hit in the mouth with a puck, uh, and he just like smiled afterwards, missing three or four teeth, blood coming
Uh,
keep
down.
keep
Um,
that
playing.
was the
but we won.
1980s Olympic team. They had none of them had teeth. That was a great shot of them.
He was like, "Luckily, I live in the greatest country in the world. I can get home and get my mouth fixed." Um, yeah. And then there was
Yeah,
a bunch of
dental
comments on
implants are
Twitter.
getting pretty impressive these days.
Say that again.
Mhm.
Dental implants are getting pretty impressive these days.
Yeah, I got a few
And
friends that got it in Bristol.
I saw an article like last year or something. There is a Um, okay, well, a little bit of background. Apparently, when you're a child and you have your baby teeth and they don't really have roots or whatever, and then there's the adult teeth that are kind of buds, as they call them, up above them. And as they develop, they grow their roots out and push down and push the baby teeth out. But there is another set of buds above the adult teeth that just never get triggered, right? But there's a Japanese researcher who uh is researching a medication that or a technique medication or something. I don't know what it is, but something that has the potential to um initiate the growth of that other layer. So it might be possible in the next like 5 years to actually naturally regrow your own actual teeth.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Like like a third set of teeth.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, well,
yeah, natural teeth up above there, your own real
I'm looking
thing,
forward to it.
right? Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, my chip tooth can fall out and I don't have to go get it fixed. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all those hockey players, I wonder if the knocked out teeth are a point of pride. I wonder if getting that, like regrowing their teeth would be like blasphemous to them, you know?
well, they're just going to get them knocked out again, so
Right.
they
So
should
why
probably
bother?
just
Just
right.
Yeah.
keep the
Like
holes, maybe.
this guy was missing, he missed the puck. Um, the guy that had the puck is the guy that got hit in the mouth. He's just like, shh, missed the
Ooh.
puck, hit him straight in the mouth, and the guy was
Right.
just like, and then the puck went sliding on. And then, yeah, they just looked at the camera. I don't understand how they smile afterwards. They have like the biggest smiles with the blood going down afterwards, and they're just, go ahead, champ. And
I mean, they've been playing hockey their whole lives, right? Raised from children going to hockey camp and stuff. So it's like they've been raised for that. They've been trained. It's been instilled in them. Getting your teeth knocked out in the game is good. That means you are doing it at the top level. Take your hits, take it like a man, and honestly, there's probably so much adrenaline and dopamine and endorphins running through his blood system that he probably didn't even feel any pain. Just warm dripping down. Might have probably felt more like drooling than bleeding out of his mouth. Um,
Okay. What that
yeah.
has me thinking is there a training process they train for the fight? Because it's like now you got to know how to fight and play. Um,
Well, they've been fighting over hockey disagreements their whole life in all these camps too, I guess.
Well, first one
I
is
would
don't fall
assume,
over.
yeah, I would
You
assume
got to
that,
be great on skates. Don't if you fall over, you lost. That's an automatic loss, I think. And
yeah,
so you
and
gotta.
wait, you said if you fall, that's a loss?
you
Well, yeah,
lost.
you're down on the ground. And so the opponent can't hit a person on the ground. That if you fall,
Oh, I
fight's
thought you meant
over.
like game over.
Oh well, not game. You don't win the game
Yeah.
because
I was
There's
confused.
there's a bit of a
yeah,
sense of honor in that you don't punch the guy when he's down. You fight,
yeah,
do that, but once one of them is down, they've lost the fight.
yeah.
But then both of them go to the penalty boxes for participating.
For how long?
2 minutes?
Wow, that's not that long.
Yeah, it's like a slap on the wrist. Nah,
Um, so when you
whatever.
say 2 minutes, is it 2 minutes as the clock is running? Like 2 minutes have run off the clock, or
Two
if
minutes
you
of
they
game
call
time.
timeout, that does that time count too?
Yeah, it's 2 minutes on the game clock.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a huge advantage if one team, you know, has player out, but you know, you get the power play.
You guys ever been to a NASCAR? Yeah,
Daytona 500.
you been? That's interesting.
Yeah, they
You stay
drive in a
the whole
big
thing?
oval, and then they do another lap in the oval, and then they do it again,
Yeah. You ever
and
like
then they have
stay
to
for the
do
whole
another
thing?
lap.
Like the whole 8 hours?
Do what? I
Listen,
missed.
you ever stay for like the whole 8 hour period?
Oh, we didn't stay for the whole thing, but we saw the ending. The year that I went was the year that there was a big like hole or something that opened up in the like corner one on the track. They had to stop, and there was work to fix it, and there was a bit of a drizzle too at the time. So it was like the probably the worst Daytona 500 to go to as my first Daytona 500. But I mean it was fun. The cars are fast, loud, and we were close enough to the track that every time they go by we got like sprayed with dirt and dust and gravel from the wind being kicked up from the cars flying past. So uh,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Dirt and dust and everything. Um, yeah, gonna sit higher up.
2010.
2010.
Yeah, February
Wow.
2010, Daytona 500. Yeah, it was delayed because potholes at turns one and two were opening up. So yeah,
You were in
underwent
your
a,
early
a major,
30s. I'm in
huh?
20s.
Not early 20s, mid
16 years
20s.
ago.
So I guess, wait, it went through the major full track repaving process in 2010, following the February. Oh, wait, no, yeah, so February 2010, and then later in 2010 they did the full repavement. So yeah. Um,
You guys watch
50
any?
second
Oh no, of course not. I was gonna because that is a sport.
50-second Daytona 500 in 2010 was marred by two stoppages lasting nearly 3 hours to repair failing track surface in the corners, prompting an immediate repave. Yeah, so we were there in the stands watching some workers paving for 3 hours.
Did you leave during that 3 hour period?
No, but
What kind of food they got there?
oh, I mean, normal stadium food, basically, you know, beers and
To a lot of
um
stadiums, the food has
beers
been
and well,
different.
I don't know, maybe yeah, maybe stadiums elsewhere in the country have exciting regional dishes, but here in Florida it was like hot dogs, peanuts,
Yeah,
uh
I imagine they don't
pretzels,
change the food,
and
you know, for
like two types of beer, maybe like light beer and not light beer. I don't know.
Um,
It was not a not I don't know.
there's there's different food for different levels, and they had. I live in California with the 49ers, so I've been to two of their stadiums. They had 3Com, and they had before it changed from what it was called. Uh, yeah, there was 3Com station, and then they moved to Santa Clara, and both of those stadiums I've been to, but the one in Santa Clara, they had a golden rib, um, and I'm assuming it's some kind of edible gold they were talking about. But that was in like higher levels of it's not just down there. The regular people can't get that. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy how different the treatment is when you are in the snooty. Yeah, there was like over at the UCF stadium, for instance, there was, like the student section and bench seats and whatnot, and just the crappy, hot dogs and whatnot. But up in the box seats, there was a bit more, there was a better selection of beer and things were a bit nicer. But I had an opportunity one time. Um, uh, I had got floor seats at the Magic Cavaliers game in Orlando back in 2016. And I sat in with my family up in the owner's box. My mother's side of the family um, are friends with the DeVosses, and yeah, the food that they had up there, um, it was
Candlestick. That was the name of the park, Candlestick Park, and
Mhm.
it changed to 3Com, and then the last game at 3Com, they moved to Santa Clara. Um, Jeff just said that in the comments. Candlestick Park is the name of it. I went to 49ers Academy, so we got tickets to the games every weekend, home games at least, and we got to go see them, and they gave out presents on Christmas and stuff like that for the students of the school. Um, but yes, that is the name of the park. It was Candlestick Park, and then it was 3Com Park. Uh,
Yeah, the owner's box at the Magic Stadium. There was like a private chef that could make almost anything. I guess I don't know. I didn't ask. But apparently he had a um, carrot cake recipe. Rich DeVos's favorite is carrot cake. And yeah, my grandmother grew up with him. Um,
What's your favorite kind of cake?
yeah, near the cream. I didn't know. I don't eat cake really.
Mm.
I don't have.
Um, I got
Yeah.
something here though.
I just real quick want to clarify that, the DeVos thing because I don't want to come off as like all snooty high class or whatever. My grandmother was a school teacher. She knew the DeVosses from childhood. They were family friends. They shared. My grandmother shared a cradle with Rich DeVos. He called her the first girl he ever slept with. Um, but when he went to start Amway, he approached my grandfather with, hey, come, we're gonna sell soap and come get in on the ground floor of this. And my grandfather he wanted to finish his PhD. He didn't want to go sell soap, start a soap company with Rich DeVos. So he turned it down, and yeah, life diverged. But yeah,
It's a
the
lovely story.
DeVosses,
My
huh?
grandparents were potatoes that floated over from Ireland.
It's
It's a joke,
it's
don't worry.
it's
um,
well, it's crazy how different life is on that side of, I don't know. It's not even the same world, almost a different universe. And we've got a glimpse behind the curtain.
yeah, I got something here, Mark. I'll wait till you get back.
I'm
Um,
here. I just hung that thing back up.
okay, I got something here that says it says this girl got a nose job so her future kids wouldn't inherit her new nose. Oh no, so they will inherit her new nose and not her in quote ugly nose. What are
Hmm.
your thoughts on that? That's something that went viral. This girl has literally the new nose and the band-aids and stuff peeling. Genetics don't change with new nose,
Is
right?
that rage bait?
No,
Is that a parody rage bait thing?
it
No,
it
this is
sounds
real.
like it. I think that might be
It
rage
sounds
bait,
like
but
somebody who's doing something to start an argument and make people angry.
I'm
She's
gonna
also
agree.
an OnlyFans model, so she's doing it to like I guess
Oh,
change her appearance.
oh,
Really?
she's an OnlyFans model, then she's doing it to get
Yeah,
more people to come and look at her
I'm gonna
meat.
agree.
Yeah,
If you're gonna
she
do
has.
something so stupid, yeah,
Yeah, she said it's so that her kids don't inherit her ugly nose. Hmm.
Yeah. That's possibly even anti-Semitic, you know. We could we could make that argument.
What do you mean by anti-Semitic?
So maybe I'm anti-Semitic for having made that comment.
don't
Um,
worry, you're
there's
not
just a trope,
overcompensating.
the large noses tend to run in Jewish families. Um, is a stereotype, a not even particularly well-founded stereotype. So, um, you know, yeah.
Um,
There's been several actors that I've heard talk about, that they were from a Jewish background and they were told that getting a nose job would help them in their career, to look less Jewish would get them further in Hollywood. And I don't know why. I don't know where that came from except just prejudice. It's oh it's
I
it's
wouldn't worry about it. It
yeah,
all just seems nonsense.
yeah, it's
um,
I worry about the philosophy behind that, the anti-Semitism. It's concerning.
their children would actually have to do the same thing because their nose is going to come from their genetics, correct?
Yes.
Well, yeah, most
Um,
likely. I mean, um,
um, Go ahead.
Unless she married a guy
yeah,
with a tiny nose, that might cancel it out. If
yeah,
the
I don't know
kids all
who's
go
gonna
to,
inherit the nose. You know, it could be a combination of a nose, of the ridges, of the yeah,
yeah,
it could definitely be a variety of things.
Or you can hope
yeah.
that you get your father's nose. Um,
This, this is daddy's.
um,
Yeah.
I got my
And
mother's nose.
these are
Um,
daddy's.
Yeah, I got my mother's too. My father. Uh, uh, it,
my
I'm
father
not
has a
gonna.
little nose. Um, they say I look exactly like him. We're the exact same height. We looked eye to eye. Um, Only thing is, I have hair and he's bald, like shiny bald. Um,
That is a pretty big difference between
yeah.
your dreads and shiny bald.
I do not want to cut my hair mainly because he started balding right here at the top first. And I could only imagine me not having hair like right here at the top. So I was
I
like, I'm
mean,
just gonna
yeah,
keep my hair. If the men in
keep
my
it all.
family
Even
on
if it
my
starts thinning back there, if you keep it all, you just roll it all up back there right on top and just set, yeah, you can
yeah,
hide it.
the hair grows round and then it just
Yeah.
has no hair right here at the top. Um
Yeah, so you
so
just
I
hang it
think
over, hang it, it's like a comb over, but with dreads. You can just boom and cover any spots.
I think
mine just flourishing
alopecia
in that
runs on
spot.
the mother's side, right?
Yeah,
I think I've heard that too,
So
but I don't want
yeah.
to take it. I haven't heard the scientific facts behind it. I have heard that happens. Male pattern
all
baldness
the men
on the
on my
side.
dad's side are bald, and all the men on my mother's side are they look like me. You know, they got you know long
They
hair
all
and
got a head full of hair.
yeah, they look like Dwayne Allman. Yeah,
Huh, huh, huh. Um, yeah. Mark, does male pattern baldness run in your family?
Um, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I haven't looked at it. I know my dad's not balding. His dad never had any issues all the way to the end. Um, I don't actually hold on.
What about things like gray hair?
Yeah, my grandfather on my mom's side, I've got the receding starting. It's back, but he always
Oh
kept
yeah,
like the thick center
like
up here, so I might go back a little bit, but I don't expect to completely, you know,
mine goes back here and here, and that's why
yeah.
it's on my siblings too. We get that from my dad. Um,
I think
Mainly
that's
just the
natural, honestly, a degree of that. But this part up here wasn't always up to here. It used to didn't have this like step back, I used to
hmm.
more.
My hairline has always been like this, and my siblings, it's maybe not as bad on my siblings, or maybe it is on some of them. Um, but yeah, that's the only thing I get from my dad. But I don't want to go bald like he is, and I've always thought if I cut my hair, maybe it might not grow back. So I was like, I'm not gonna cut it. I'm
yeah,
gonna.
I've heard a lot of people have that thought, like,
Yeah,
I want to shave my head, but if I do that, it's not going to grow back.
I've
Yeah.
I've gone through so many wild variations from long hair to completely shaved to mohawks to just unkempt and,
Mhm.
curly. People have asked if I got a perm when I've just let my hair do its thing. So like, but I don't know. Every time I cut it all completely down, I always regret having not left some there. So I don't know. I agree with you. Don't cut it. If you do, and if there is even the tiniest remote possibility of regret, then it would be a mistake to cut it because that's to get back to that point would take so much time that you will never be able to pull it off, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah.
because the
I
hair
believe
growth
hair grows
slows with
6 inches a
age. So
year.
6 inches a year.
I measured 8.5 inches on my head back in
Ah, oh,
2022.
that's
I
good.
Um,
I am special that way, you see.
do you
All
think
Um,
them
that measures by
vitamins.
ethnicity?
I don't
Mhm.
know. That's interesting. I want to check out hair growth. Does hair growth rate have any correlation with ethnicity? That's a
I'm
really
sure
good
it does. Everything is affected by, gender, race, and so a little bit.
Asian hair growing fastest at approximately 1.3 to 1.4 centimeter. Hair growth rate by ethnicity in inches. Google.
It grows
Okay.
centimeters, you said?
Asian hair growing fastest, approximately 0.8 inches in a month, followed by Caucasian, approximately half inch a month, and African hair, approximately 0.2 to 0.3 inches per month. So
Okay.
these differences are genetic, affecting the anagen growth phase duration, where average growth is about 6 inches annually. Yeah, spot on, Kevin.
I'm gonna
Uh,
dye all of my hair and then see how much grows over a year. I was gonna dye it
okay.
blonde. What are your thoughts
Well,
about that?
as long as you can get it back. I don't know.
Never
Blonde,
no
Don't
plans of getting it back.
blonde
don't bleach
dreads
it or
on a
anything.
black.
I
I don't know.
was.
Hold on.
Um,
I gotta go pee real quick.
yeah, there's hairs that I dyed. Some of the brown, I mean the blonde is going off of the tips, but some of these I dyed when they were like this long, maybe a little longer. But yeah, and now it's finally growing out in some hairs. I'm not sure. I think this might be growing more than an inch a year though, because yeah, if I cut it, it'll be back. Um, oh, I hate the dog hair. You get a problem with dog hair? Oh, you don't have a dog, do you?
No, I do not.
All of you guys are cat people. I
I
am.
know. The cat serves a purpose. It's I like an animal that kind of serves a purpose. And we got there's a lot of animals around here, and the cat keeps the house mice away. They don't step foot not in this property because she's
Jeff
gonna.
says Pookie don't do it.
Poofy?
I said Jeff said Pookie don't do it.
Oh,
By cutting my hair. But yeah, I
oh
was
yeah.
showing Kevin this part. Like maybe a decade ago, I dyed my hair all the way blonde, and it's growing out. But I've cut some too, so um, yeah. How about we all dye our hair blonde, and then We just watch it.
Finished. Done.
And then
Check.
we could bleach it and then show up at like a Billy Idol like convention or something.
Mine is
Eat
down past
Billy
my stomach.
Idol's.
I want to do a measurement, but I don't have a ruler. Yeah. I got a surprise coming today in the mail.
Oh.
Yeah. Got a surprise coming. It's actually a MacBook. So I'm excited. Yeah. You guys ever took a cruise?
Nope.
No.
No.
Probably won't. Probably won't. I have no interest in a cruise. Just a floating petri dish.
Oh, I have a friend I went to high school said he has 2 tickets and he was asking me to bring my girlfriend and I was like, I don't have a girlfriend, bro. And he was like, I know you got some girls hanging around. I don't these days. Maybe I used to, but yeah. He's like, bring somebody. I did not plan on going, but it would be interesting if one of you guys went with me.
Oh, I'll go if it
It's
was a
like a
free ticket.
2 week cruise.
Yeah,
2 weeks on the water.
Oh, geez, 2 weeks. Yeah, okay. I'll still go. I don't care. I got nothing else going on.
Really? We can go.
Yeah,
Um,
hold on.
I'll ask him. I would like to go if someone actually went that I enjoyed going with. He's cool, but he's gonna be with his girl, so I'm like, I don't want to just be a third wheel with you guys. And yeah,
I'm just trying to do the math on something. Mm, yeah.
yeah.
It's like a serious thing. Like,
It's the second week of April.
oh,
Until
April.
the it's
I thought you
around
meant
like
like next week.
oh
Okay,
no,
okay. It's good. All right.
yeah, it's like the second week of April. I mean, that's all I was told. I don't know the date. Second week of April until late April. Um, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
Kevin, I'm looking forward to this. I'm gonna call you when I get the call that says, "Yeah, bring that guy."
yeah, that'll be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to get out.
Mm.
Mm. I rescind my statement about floating petri dish, but
Floating petri dish.
I know
Yeah.
it's just
Mark, you ever been on a cruise?
No,
Would you go on a cruise?
I don't think so. It's nothing personal. I just can't be away from my cats that long.
Oh, okay.
I can't deal with the stress of I mean, I couldn't even go to a concert downtown last night. I yeah. You're speaking to an agoraphobe. Um,
Gotcha. I understand.
I'm not ready for a cruise yet. So,
That'll be dope to go with you, Mark. But I'm gonna tell my
some
friend that
someday.
I'm gonna bring Kevin. Um, he said that we're gonna take his mom and dad's ticket. I also need to ask him, does that mean we're sharing a room? Because that's what that sounds like now that I think about it.
do I
Ooh.
need to get a passport
Did
or
his
anything for
mom
that?
and dad have separate beds?
I didn't ask that. So I have to check
That
on that.
that might change the calculus a little bit.
um, I'll look into that because yeah, I mean, we don't have to sleep on the same blankets. I don't mind, but I am
After
gonna
all
look
that
into.
talk about sailors
I did
earlier,
not.
geez, joking.
And they have a water park.
Yeah, that's probably what I'd be into. That because I know there's a lot of alcohol on there. And I'd probably be interested in the food.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
from it's gonna go from lower Florida, um,
Oh,
down
leaving from
past
Florida?
Jamaica.
Where in Florida?
Um, I forgot where he said in particular.
Well, let
Mm,
me know
there's some
because the
islands we're gonna stop on. He said there's three islands we stop at on the way for 3 days apiece. Uh,
St.
Oh, cool.
Lucia.
I don't even want to lie to you. I don't remember the names at all.
Well, you might be able to get some interesting looking peppers there if you can get some fresh peppers and just bring them back,
Cool.
even if they end up drying out. Could harvest the
um,
seeds from unique peppers. Might be able to
This
grow
is
them
a
up.
very important question, though. Do I need like a real ID or any sort of passport or?
that's what I'm thinking now because I didn't think about that either. He just was like, "You want to go?" And I was like, "Let me think about it." Um, but now that I think
'Cause
about it, gonna need to go get a passport soon. So I'm gonna talk to him about it and let you know what you need. But yeah,
that's like very close up, and the passport takes like 3 weeks, and I do not have one, so I will
you
have to
got
get
enough
on that.
time.
All right.
I will call after this and make sure we know everything we need. And I'm gonna make sure that you know for sure if this is a sharing bed situation.
Okay.
uh,
Sounds good.
yeah, that'll be dope. We're gonna. I'm telling you, we gotta force Mark to come along.
You got him.
We gotta find a way. Um, yeah. The water park was the interesting part. I believe they said like there's a super high dive. Like this ship or whatever is known for the water park in particular. And it's crazy that I don't remember any of these names of this stuff. I won't be doing any high dives, but this boat is known for their water park.
Mhm.
Uh, you guys ever dive? Well, that's Mark. You ever dive
Yep.
off the high
Yeah,
dive?
I learned to swim literally the exact same time that I learned to walk. So, um
Wow.
it's yeah. I mean, growing up in Florida, there's bodies of water everywhere. My mom wanted to make sure I would be super safe, but as the flip side of that, I just don't understand like, people who have to learn how to swim or have not had access to a pool. It's just been like everywhere. How can somebody reach adulthood and have not jumped off of a high dive? That's like
Mhm.
they're everywhere. Like what
My
is it?
mother doesn't
It
know how to
was
swim.
required.
Um, Not sure if she ever had swimming time. Well, yeah, she told me they used to jump the gate to the city pool when she was a kid. And she's like, I don't know how we did that because I don't know how to swim, but we did that as a kid. Um, but she cannot swim. Oh, and Kevin, Jeff said you can have a real ID or a passport. Nice to know. I'm still going to ask him because I want to make sure
Okay.
anything that I need or don't need. But yeah, now that I have
Thank you,
someone who would
Jeff.
like to go, I will look into it. Um, yeah, nice, Kevin. Nice. We're gonna be going on a cruise. I'm looking forward to this already.
I
Um,
also I also grew up around water, and it was like a very natural thing for me. And yeah, that was always fun. So
yeah, well, I live on the Pacific coast, so I see water a
yeah.
lot. Well, actually, I don't see it a lot these days because I don't go that way. But yeah, um, water everywhere up the coast, north and south.
Mhm.
I love water. If you ever come to California, make sure you visit Shark Fin Beach or Shark Fin Cove, actually.
I'll keep that in mind. All right.
Um, yeah, when you go down there, right in front of the water, there's a cove, and then the water's there. And there's a huge shark fin, what's it called? Like stone. I'm not sure if you would want to climb it, but that's one thing I was always thinking is climb that big stone, but then I'd have to eventually get down, was the other problem. Um, yeah. You like water, Kevin? Like in ocean water?
Yeah, love it. No, I think humans were biologically meant to be around water.
Mm, that'd be nice. Mark, you got something?
Um, I mean, I just wanted to circle back to something, and I'm not even sure if it's something that you guys want to touch on again. So if you got more to talk about there, you know, just wind and gas turbines, and I've got a thought that I want to touch on. But
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, good.
yeah, okay. So this is coming out of Germany, uh, published by Reuters. Um, in Frankfurt. Siemens Energy's net profit nearly tripled in the first 3 months of its fiscal year, boosted by AI-driven demand for gas turbines for grid equipment and a narrower loss at its struggling wind turbine division. Company's results on Wednesday reflect the global build-out of data centers to power AI technology and efforts to improve the performance at wind turbine maker Siemens Gamesa. Uh, Side note, um, all wind turbine manufacturing is operated at a net loss. They're not profitable to anybody who builds them. Just side note. Yet, side
mm,
note. But okay, company's results on Wednesday reflect global build out of data centers to power AI technology and efforts
bathroom
to
break.
improve performance at wind turbine maker Siemens Gamesa. Big tech firms, the so-called hyperscalers, are planning to spend 600 billion on artificial intelligence in 2026, creating a surge in demand for power plants as well as the grid infrastructure to link them to data centers. The AI boom has helped increase Siemens Energy stock more than tenfold over the past 2 years, arriving at a market value 137 billion euros. The share is up at 5.2%, 9 o'clock GMT, hitting record high following the results. Da, da, da. I got a nice little pretty graph here for um, da, da, da. Then yeah, sustained. Siemens Gamesa is on track for break even. Sustained high demand in our gas turbines and grid technologies business is making a significant contribution to overall performance. It's the only reason that the wind turbines are even there. If it weren't for government subsidies, nobody would even really have a reason to build them. Also, in the wind business, there are early signs of a modest improvement, finally. Net
Well, a lot
profit
of
for the quarter.
energy gets energy subsidies. A lot. I mean, a lot of. Wait, did that come out right? Yeah, a lot of power sources get energy subsidies. Yeah, I think that's what I meant to say. Um, yeah, here in the and perhaps the point of energy should not be profit, immediate profit. Maybe that's
If
not the
it
point.
were not for profit, there would be no reason to bother. Nobody would have a motivation to do it.
I think they wanted to move on from a poisonous possibly disastrous sub source of power. That was what they set out to do, and they did it, but
Dangerous, possibly
at
potentially useful.
a really difficult time.
I,
And
I wish that
nobody foresaw things like AI or anything which required immense immense
I
demand
foresaw it. I was
amounts of
working in this
energy.
stuff a long time ago. I saw that that AI was coming and that big power. I was talking, of course, only in my circles, so like 3 or 4 people, but I was telling people, anyone who would listen, that nuclear needs to come. I mean, it's been widely known, any engineer within the power industry knows that wind turbines are not going to solve the energy crisis. But um net profit ending
Okay,
746
so
million
should they
euros
be
up from
abandoned?
252 million. We believe that expectations were running high into the first quarter, but once again, Siemens Energy surprised on the upside. Siemens Gamesa, which has been plagued by quality issues. Gamesa is their wind turbine division. They bought it from Spain, and immediately it dragged them down so much they had to spin off the energy business and then get it bailed out by the German government. It's been plagued by quality issues, narrowed its opening loss to 46 million euros compared with 347 million in the same period.
Oh, to quote
Where
someone,
did I
it's just a
oh,
first generation model,
no, it's not.
like Chernobyl. We could try again.
Wind turbines are not in their first generation, and
Come
there is no
on now.
scenario where there is enough kinetic energy in the atmosphere's movement to create the electricity needed to power all of these stations. It just isn't there.
And solar, that's impossible too.
Well, solar, if you want to just cover the entire surface of the planet with photovoltaic cells, then go ahead. But what's the environmental impact of doing so?
Very little.
And
It costs a lot
where do you
less.
do it?
Like everywhere that the sun shines.
I mean, your roof alone is not enough to power your whole house. Where do you put solar farms that are enough to power New York City?
Get creative.
Right. Well, so that means you don't have the answer. Who do you expect to answer that question then, if not you? If
I
the
don't
answer
run
is
them.
not obvious at face value, then it's not like it's not the obvious answer, okay? Solar, not enough room in the immediate surrounding area of New York without mowing down like the Pine Barrens in New Jersey and the all of I don't know what those mountains are, Berkshires and just cover Long Island, demolish all the houses, and turn it into a solar farm. And that still won't even scratch the power demand of New York City alone. You could build a handful of gas turbines, stick them in an innocuous place with a relatively small footprint. In combined cycle, you use the exhaust gas from the simple cycle gas turbines to generate steam. Use that to turn a steam turbine. You get 60 something percent efficiency, highest of any power generation technology.
Well,
And
I mean, I I don't know. I'm not an urban planner. I'm not a politician. I'm not a scientist.
right,
But
so saying these
what I keep
technologies can
reading,
solve. Okay, sorry.
you you can't blame me for not knowing how it's going to be done. I don't put the plan. I don't design the plan. So, but what I
Right.
keep reading online is that solar energy is widely considered a cornerstone of, future global energy, and it will
Well,
be
those are articles
the
written by
dominant.
people who are also not experts in the technology. The people who've actually worked in it, who actually know the physics and thermodynamics behind power generation, say that it's not feasible to go to solar alone. It's not feasible to go to wind alone as a replacement for fossil fuels. It's not sufficient to combine them to replace fossil fuels. You need nuclear and you need something to ramp up at peak values. You can't change the load of a nuclear plant very quickly because they're essentially just a gigantic boiler. The only thing that a nuclear reactor does is heat up water to steam, and that steam turns a turbine, and that turbine turns a generator, just like any other steam
What
generator.
happens to that water?
It
Um,
condenses into liquid and then goes back into the steam turbine. It's a closed loop process. The water cools down, gigantic cooling towers, that's what you see, and then recondenses and goes back through the loop.
No toxic waste or anything anymore.
No, you don't dump anything toxic out into the atmosphere, and you have zero carbon emissions.
Uh-huh.
Make all the skeptical faces you want. I mean,
So there's nothing wrong, nothing bad about nuclear. If I Google that,
when it's done correctly and safely, no.
oh, okay.
There
Hmm.
is an environmental impact of the extraction of the ore, but there's environmental impact of the extraction of any and all materials involved in any and all power technologies. Compared to wind, it's really not as big of a deal, especially since you need like thousands of wind turbines to equal the power output of a single nuclear power plant. And those wind turbines need to be supplemented with a peaker plant of some sort, a natural gas plant. For when the wind doesn't blow, you got to still be able to generate the entire capacity that you need from a fossil fuel plant, or you're just going to have to parasitically buy the electricity in from a neighboring power grid, and hope your neighboring state has environmentally friendly laws too. Otherwise, you're just outsourcing your pollution from right next to you to those guys over there. Let them burn the coal power in their plants in that red state that has less restrictions. Let them do it and generate the extra power and sell it back over to you. And that's not going to
mhm.
be at the same nice, friendly electricity rate that you would have been paying were you actually generating it in
All right, fine.
boundaries of your
It's
own
a
state.
useless energy form. There's no point in investing in solar at all.
Solar? There's a lot of
solar?
there's a lot of
Is there
point
any
in
point?
investing in solar. It's super helpful in
Okay.
space. Solar panels power everything in space.
So that's the only purpose for it? Little,
I mean,
hmm,
solar plants here and there, solar farms here and there on the surface, fine. They're not the game changer that people make them out to be. Because again, you got to consider the surface area that it takes. Look at the efficiency of those solar panels. Look at the surface area required for that efficiency to produce the amount of electricity you need to provide to your grid. And then you need to double that so that you can store that excess in batteries to provide to your grid overnight when the light isn't shining on your solar panels.
and
Or
are they
you
getting more
need a gas
sophisticated?
turbine
Those
to,
batteries and those cells, are they becoming, or are they just, you
no,
know,
they're becoming more sophisticated, but you build it once and then it goes on and it gets more sophisticated and you're left with last year's technology. You build it now with the bad stuff we have now, and you deal with that now,
okay, I
or,
agree. We can
you
have
know,
a
but it
hybrid
doesn't matter.
of,
You're still going to need to build massive amounts of gas turbine power plants to meet the exponential ramp up in power demand by these AI companies. Solar is not going to do it. It's not even going to scratch the surface. It's not even, I mean, it's a
oh, that's,
joke compared to the increasing demand that will be placed on the grid by the AI companies if their
right.
business plans,
Well,
as they state them, are to be believed. And there's no reason not to believe that they're going to demand a lot of energy to train these things that they're going to push on everybody in the next 5 years. And there's not even actually a plan to construct those power plants.
I would agree with that. I think there's too much from Bitcoin and the crypto. I think
Oh, the
that should
crypto
be
is just
regulated, highly
unnecessary.
regulated, because those use up as much as energy as a small city, and that should be regulated because that's a uh, pirate zone. People just, you know,
Although philosophically, I think it is interesting to have a decentralized non-fiat currency, but that's a discussion for another time, I think, maybe.
okay,
Um,
Oh, it's perfect timing.
I don't know. It's already going on 3 hours here, and I don't know if nerves are getting a little frayed here. I still haven't eaten lunch too, but I mean, I can
yeah,
keep going if there's more to discuss. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse just saying gas
yeah.
turbines, nuclear, gas turbines, nuclear. I mean, without
We can
pulling
just
out a piece
agree.
of paper and starting to do some math, I can't
No,
really.
I was never against, you know, that. I was never against nuclear. I just said,
Right.
I think,
Yeah, yeah, you were
I
definitely pro-nuclear from the beginning. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made it seem like, but to be
I,
fair though, I am saying nuclear, gas turbines, nuclear alone. So,
and we don't actually have a choice because nuclear or carbon is going to disappear. We're going to run out of it. That's non-renewable. I
carbon,
mean, it's carbon's going to disappear. Yeah, carbon or yeah,
What does that mean?
fossil fuels. Fossil fuels. I think I messed up saying that. I don't know what I
okay.
meant by
Yeah.
carbon.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Carbon emissions from fossil fuels. Um,
Well,
Got it.
I
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Post
yeah,
peak oil, I think. We've passed peak oil. We're at
right.
the downward side of that bell curve, and that's dangerous that nobody's talking about that anymore, too. I remember that was a buzzword like a decade ago. Peak oil production, peak oil. Maybe the problem is that we haven't passed peak oil production, but we've passed where we should be.
I
We
actually
should
did.
have stopped.
If you want to do a fun math problem, look up how much it is on BP's website, how much oil and carbon they think they have left in on Earth, and divide it by annual usage.
Annual?
1 second. Um,
We
for
don't have to
me,
do that now.
for me and the viewers, can we do layman's terms
Yeah.
real quick? Can you let me know what this is about? I'm getting lost in between translation, but yeah, I know some of what you guys are talking about, but then there's other parts that I just like, huh? Uh, I got
Okay.
lost in carbon.
The what we do, um, BP lists how much fossil fuels they think are on the planet. And or the planet uses a certain amount of fossil fuels every year. Now, if you divide uh, net usage, or no, if you divide usage by fossil fuels, you'll get, uh, or I'm trying to, let me write this out. I'll get, we have, so X
Reserves,
amount.
okay, reserves to production ratio, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much oil is left in the world versus how much we're actively pulling out of the ground right now, right?
And also, they should have other things like coal and
Yeah, oil, natural gas, coal,
yeah,
natural, yeah, 49 years remaining of natural gas, 50 to 56 years remaining of oil, 139 years of coal remaining. That's
yeah.
good, I guess. We've got a little bit longer. Oil, natural gas. Somebody's got to figure out a way to produce rocket propellant out of coal so that we can at least have one last grasp hope at leaving this planet if we
Huh.
just. But then what? Without a continuing ongoing support from a home planet that, I don't know, the whole idea of a Mars settlement is contingent upon the idea of ongoing support from Earth, right? If we just send one last rocket and colony off to Mars to save humanity, since we're gonna just die here on this planet.
I hate
How
to bring this
long would
back.
the, how long would the Mars
That
colony last without
that would
any?
have to be pure renewables.
Right, but what?
And
How? I mean, we can't do wind on Mars. Um,
yes, you can.
no, you can't. The atmosphere is so thin that there is not enough aerodynamic lift on a turbine blade in order to turn it with enough energy. Like seriously, the copter and stuff that, the gravity on Mars is
All
what,
right, I forgot.
point 0.8 that of Earth. So it doesn't take as much lift to get something up off the ground,
Yeah.
but it has a much thinner atmosphere. So those blades are pushing on less air So it's kind of a trade-off between them, but we'd either need a lot more wind turbines, or some other means of, honestly, we need fusion.
Question.
That was
Have
always
you
the
heard,
ultimate goal.
we just successfully passed a benchmark. A fusion reaction put out more energy than was input to initiate it just recently.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Do
Yeah,
you guys realize how
that's
important that is? Oh my gosh, we
that
created a
that's
mini sun on Earth and it gave us energy as opposed to us using lasers and stuff, lasers and magnets to force it into a thing like, and yeah, oh my gosh, that is, that is, I mean, that's the, like, the nuclear
yeah,
equivalent, the
that's the
inverse of splitting the atom back in the 1940s, the beginning of the
mhm.
atomic age then. This is akin to the splitting the atom. It's the fusing the atom. It's incredible. If that can actually be built up and feasibly built out, that is the game changer. You
Yeah.
know, that is clean energy with, I mean, the limits would be just how much, how fast the infrastructure could be built. I don't know how difficult that, well, okay, it is massively difficult to build all of that stuff, but how to turn it into a grid scale power generator is a big question. I don't,
Coming down to the wire on that, you
huh?
know,
Um,
coming down
I
to the
got
wire.
something.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, it's like you and
like you
I,
were
it's
saying,
like our peers, our generation need to figure this problem out.
Yes, that's our
Or,
key responsibility. I would agree
or
with that.
yeah,
Yes,
or
absolutely.
our kids, our, children's, the Zoomers aren't gonna have an earth to live on if our generation, if we millennials do not solve this problem.
No.
um, so to the part where I got to go back because I was thinking about it. So there's no wind on Mars. So if I were to throw something, how far would it go?
How hard did you throw it?
Good answer.
I
That's
mean,
all
it
I'm getting
depends.
at.
It
I was
depends on a
thinking,
lot of things. When you throw an object, the distance it travels depends on the amount of energy that you put into it, how fast it was traveling when you release it. So the kinetic energy is one half times the mass or the weight of the ball that you threw, times the square of the velocity that you threw it at. So that direction, that it will continue in a basically a parabola. That's what's referred to as a ballistic arc. When you hear the word ballistic, that's basically what it means. An object that's flying through the air, unpowered. All of the energy in its travel was imparted to it when it initially began its flight. It's just flying freely. So an arc, there will be wind resistance acting against it. That'll be slowing it down. So that'll kind of shorten the arc a little bit. But wind resistance is proportional to the velocity of the ball. So, well, and the density of the atmosphere. So the Martian atmosphere is so much less dense. I assume, I may be wrong, but I assume that we could probably approximate it as zero and just say that there is no atmospheric drag on a baseball that you throw on the surface of Mars. So that's
So it
that's
would just
how
go.
that's how far it would travel. It would follow a parabolic arc with that kinetic energy, and you basically plot that out, and that would tell you where it lands.
So it's the same as Earth. You throw a ball and it's going to go across the room.
Yeah, yeah. But there's
I was thinking you
more
would say
drag on
something
here.
like,
There are cases where the drag, the atmospheric drag, aerodynamics can be more important on Earth. Compared to Mars, Earth's surface is like crushingly hard and soupy. Like the atmosphere is like soupy thick compared to the
I
that
was
on
thinking
Mars
that you
there.
were going to say, um, I was thinking that you were going to say something like you throw the ball and it just goes as far as ever.
No,
That's what I
not
was
quite.
thinking.
It's interesting though, because that there is a point at which that will happen, and but it's based on the speed that you throw the ball, and that speed would essentially have to be orbital velocity. There's for any object, any given size of object, it has an orbital velocity. So that's what we're doing when we launch these rockets. We launch it up a certain distance, get it a certain height, and we launch it horizontally along the surface of the Earth and accelerate it faster and faster and faster until it reaches its orbital velocity, where it will just continue going around and around and around, and it's just the gravity of the Earth that keeps pulling it back towards it. But because of the speed, that leads to a circle. If it was just a bit short of orbital velocity, it would slowly kind of whirl its way like around the toilet bowl down and hit the Earth like that little chunk of space debris, right? But if it's at orbital velocity and it gets a little extra boost, it'll, follow a few more, but eventually it'll kind of get a slingshot out and just fly away forever. So there's that window there. That's what they're doing with satellites, why they got to get them into these precise speeds and locations. But for a baseball on the surface of the Earth, though, there is still an orbital velocity for that. The size of the baseball is really small, so that affects it. The size, the mass reduces the or wait, does it? I don't know. Well,
So,
yeah, but for the baseball, there on the surface of the Earth, you can, and assuming the Earth is perfectly spherical and that it won't bump into any mountains, there is a speed that you can throw it and then turn around and catch your own ball from behind you. But it'll be going so fast that it'll probably do something like that XKCD comic that I read you, where throwing the pitch
um,
results in a thermonuclear explosion. There's going to be, I mean, it will be Mach something something, probably like 10 something. There's going to be shock waves that are going to cause hearing damage on people like miles away, probably. I kind of want to
that's
do,
that's
I kind of want
that's
to,
what I was getting at. I was thinking like throw a ball and then you turn around and it's already one around. I mean, of course, it's not going to be fast, but
it'll be fast,
yeah,
but it'll take a while. Even with its speed, it'll take a while. You'll have like 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes or so. Um,
wow.
But I mean, because you got to consider, like ICBMs and stuff, those high speed, Mach 5 intercontinental missiles that Russia has, if they launch them over the North Pole at us, um, and we detect their launch, they're going to be in the air for over 30 minutes before they get across. You know, they got to get up into space and get all the way across and then come back down. So um, that's quick, but that's not impossible to detect and react to. That's the whole idea behind the NORAD and the all of the interceptors and defense. Um, but yeah, that
I was
base
thinking like
orbital velocity at the surface of the Earth would probably be more destructive than a uh, Mach 5 ICBM fired by Putin over the North Pole. I
I
wonder
All
was
right,
if
I'm
thinking
gonna.
that
I want to end on a high note with the fusion. I think that's a great thing that we're making steps towards that.
Oh, another
And
thing, can I share another high
sure,
note, another nuclear high note too on that
go
topic?
ahead.
Because this is um are you familiar with thorium fuel cells or thorium fuel reactor, nuclear reactor?
no, what
Sounds
is it?
So,
familiar.
okay, the idea is, I mean, it's a theoretical process, but it's just been proven. So the idea is you rather than using uranium itself, which can easily be weaponized, you use an element called thorium, and you use that thorium to breed uranium. You basically feed it a neutron, and the neutron causes the uranium to, or the thorium to decay, and the thorium decays into uranium, and the uranium can then um,
Fuse with
split
it.
and yeah, split. And
Or
so you get basically thorium feeding a uranium reaction that then results in, I mean, first off, a much safer whole product or whole reaction, but the end products are not weaponizable in any way at all. It's impossible to get anything that can be used in and fashioned into a nuclear weapon with a thorium cycle.
well, that
And
sounds
just
like the ultimate sort of thing. I mean, that sounds like the all right.
yeah, yeah. And just for the first time ever recently, over in China, researchers had demonstrated and successfully, um, uh, yeah, successfully shown and demonstrated that the hypothesized thorium cycle can be achieved and did it. So, yeah, fusion molten salt reactors or thorium, which I think that just sounds so much cooler, right? There's the thorium or molten salt reactors. Ugh. But
Right.
yeah,
Okay. I will catch you guys on the next one.
next one.
All right.
Yeah,
So
great talking to
we'll
you.
Um,
see.
I should talk to you tomorrow. Just a little heads up